Yeah.
There you go. Like right in
We're
the.
live, amigos.
Oh, live. Wow, this is exciting.
All right. We got Doc Johal in the house.
Well,
Dude, I started the camera over there like we normally do, and we like, kind of like ruined the surprise.
no, well, thank you guys for having me. It's an honor. You know, this pod has helped me out.
Of course.
In many ways.
We got to tell the story of how we connected in real life.
For sure.
So, were you there, Eric?
Oh, yeah, he was there.
Outside the ice cream shop?
Yeah, so we had just finished doing a pod.
Yeah.
And I don't think you knew that. You were with your family.
Yeah, I was with my brother-in-law and his wife, and then was celebrating, and we were at Mr. A's.
Oh, okay. I love that restaurant.
Yeah.
So we're right in Little Italy. We had just left the studio. We're walking down to go, I don't know, probably get food or get drinks or something. I forget exactly.
Gelato. Oh.
Well, where were we going?
Oh, you guys were going to go
Yeah, we were going to go get drinks, but then we ran into Marcus, who was getting gelato with his kids.
Ran into Marcus, yeah. And then Doc pulls up, and he's like, hey.
He's like, Alfalfa guys.
I know you guys. And we're like, really? And he's like, yeah, I listen to the pod, and I live in San Diego, and
I'll be honest, we don't get many of those. We're not that big of a pod.
Not that famous.
You guys are famous to me, man.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, man, like, wife, you don't know like who I just met. You know, these guys. You know?
It was great. And then you hopped into the Discord. We were like, dude, you got to jump in the Discord.
For sure.
You started dropping all this alpha, which we're going to dig into, and then you came to Alfalfa Palooza.
Yeah, that was a great time.
Got to meet the community. I mean, it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, hang out with you guys. It was fun sharing experiences with everyone. It's been quite the alpha group.
Good, man.
Yeah.
And then it got even more interesting because we realized we're going to have 2 out this week.
Yeah.
And then Eric and I were talking, and we were like, who should we have on the pod? And we both were like, let's have Doc. Let's see if he would be down for that. And then you literally reach out the next day on the Discord. You're like, guys, if you, I'm around. And
wait, can you give some context to that? Did you just have an inclination or?
No, so I was listening to the pod the day after, the morning of, it comes out the next day, and I was like, man, I want to share my experiences, and I feel like this is the group that will actually take that alpha. And I was like, let's go do it. Like, this is kind of like my mission in life. Like, I want to help, and I think this pod has helped me. So it's my turn to give back. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to hang out with you guys, and it's just
that's crazy.
A good time.
So we actually mentioned at the end of the pod. I must have been
we said we're going to be a couple people short. Maybe we should bring somebody on. Like, that's all we really said.
That's pretty kismet.
Yeah.
I would say that, Doc, you espouse sort of everything that we would hope to embody in like an audience member, somebody who's like really thoughtful and like pursuing sort of like all the grand things in life. It's like, I don't know. I think you're like a
very
perfect
holistic way, money, meaning, all of it.
Thank you. I mean, like this community has kind of filled that for me too. Like it goes 2 ways because like I'm looking for like-minded people, and I feel like I get that listening to this pod. It's not just tech oriented, it's not just money oriented. There's topics go from political to just deeper meanings in life, like what is God and things like that. It's just like kind of hit that rainbow of topics, and it's like holistic, like you said. That's a good word.
Before we get any further, do you want to maybe give a stab at the
I am not ready for that.
Okay, neither am I. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, well, let's do it. What do we really like around here? What do we really make sure to drink before we do this pod?
Yeah, the drink before you drink. ZBiotics.
ZBiotics.
Yeah, shout out to
the sponsor.
Yeah, shout out to the sponsor.
The drink before you drink.
Yeah, it's the genetically engineered probiotic that attacks the nasty toxin.
The real culprit.
Acetaldehyde.
Yes, you fit in perfectly. You drink this before you drink, and it helps you have a great day the next day.
A delightful day. Yeah. In particular, when you're drinking any of this hard stuff.
Yeah.
And you need to perform the next day. I'm sure for you, have you tried it?
No, I haven't. I actually was hoping to get some at the Alfalfa Palooza, and I didn't get any.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, as a doctor,
as
a doctor, I would think that would help a lot in those mornings.
Yeah, nasty mornings. But they were floating around at Alfalfa Palooza, and people were raving about it. So
yeah,
give it a try. ZBiotics.com/alfalfa for 15% off
Yep.
your order. And
30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, send it back. And always been a great supporter of the pod, and excited for Doc to try them too. And yeah. Give it a shot, guys.
yeah, we should have had it dialed up for Doc. But
Yeah, I know.
I tried my
Actually,
best.
don't know where my pack is. It's not here, and it's
Steven,
not at home.
Steven consumed it all.
Well, okay, awesome. We have a bunch of topics to get into today.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this episode. We don't have
yeah.
many guests, and this is the first community guest.
Yes, I think you are. Is he the very first community guest?
Yeah, because we've had guests, but never somebody straight from
Yeah.
Discord.
Oh, okay,
wow.
cool. Thank you.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I hope it's the beginning of a lot more of this, because I think this is something that at Alfalfa Palooza, from talking to people in person in particular, and just kind of, I've even done surveys to the community before, and this is something that people expressed, like they want this. They want to be able to, because you're really an extension of us. We're an extension of each other. You describe the community perfectly. You're like, it's like-minded people. The right people are
Absolutely.
attracted to the
Absolutely.
community. And everyone has such a unique and different background. Literally doctors, plumbers, McDonald's, crypto people, like everything in between. But what unifies it is like curiosity, honestly, just being good people.
Yeah.
I have not met one bad apple in this group. And so I think there's this through line of intellectual curiosity.
You're the bad apple, dude.
Thank you. There's got to be one. There's got to be one.
Apple, right?
And so I think that's a really special thing. So, yeah, we've got a bunch of topics today, but let's kick off with just what's going on lately. Little alfalfa round. So, Eric, you had a little.
Yeah, dude. I haven't shared an alfalfa round in a long time, and this today's version is like not financial, which is what I normally come with. But Brendan, who works here in the office. Oh, what's that? Okay, Brendan, who works here in the office. He's like the agentic AI specialist for Nick's business, and he told me to watch these series of videos by Andrej Karpathy, who like Armand probably mentioned this a year ago or something, and I just wasn't paying attention. But I started watching this, and I think the videos that I've been watching, Andrej Karpathy's deep dive into LLMs is the first one. It's 3.5 hours long.
Oh, geez.
This is the best informational video I've ever seen.
Dude, this guy is up there with the greatest teachers of all time.
Yes, and I after
Khan.
Okay, after watching this, first of all, I feel like I'm in the 99th percentile of understanding of what LLMs are, even.
You are.
But beyond that, I was also thinking fuck, I wish that these types of videos existed for every topic on earth, because what he created was so informative but succinct and concise and digestible, and it's amazing. And I think it leads into something we're going to talk about today too, which is the OpenAI demo day. But I feel like after watching Andrej Karpathy's, I'm ready to actually even engage in that convo now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very good video. I don't know how much time you spend in AI. I'm curious to hear how relevant it is for you in your world, maybe just even more personally. But yeah, I mean, Andrej is a go. And I'm always so incredibly fascinated by smart people that are humble, that are super technical, but have developed the capability to communicate to a wider audience.
Yes.
That is so hard to do, to be very smart and be very deep in the weeds on a topic, but be able to zoom out and make it pragmatic, tangible, actionable, linear in its thinking. I mean, he takes a very first principles approach to the whole thing. The entire construct of how he just begins in that video, I remember, by just talking about the process of scraping the web and how that model actually works and how it's built and the different variations of it.
Step one is you download the internet.
Yeah. but it's complex.
Yeah.
And some of it is, at least. And the way he breaks that down and just builds on it and builds on it and builds on it, it's really good.
So he's he left, where'd he leave? Tesla or something. He was the guy there, and he left to build his own educational business. I think that's what he's working on now. But he has more resources on YouTube. He goes into even building your own GPT from scratch. He says you can do this for $600 and build some old iteration of ChatGPT, and walking you through it. It's amazing. It's helped my understanding level up tremendously.
So beyond your understanding, did it change your perspective on AI?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it helped. It helped actually like formulate what I was trying to communicate before in like our previous convos dating back to, 6 months ago or so, where I kind of feel like this model, and granted, he's using like an old, like this was from 7 months ago. I think he's on like ChatGPT 2 at this point.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's what he's showcasing. Like that model is a probability simulator. So it like takes what you're prompting and probabilistically just guesses what the next token should be, which to me is not intelligence. That's like
it's a numbers game.
yeah, that's just probabilities. Like that's like I don't know. It's like more like memorization. And like in our previous conversations about AI, it was about like intelligence and like the AGI and like when does it like take over humanity and stuff. And I don't think it gets there just being a probability simulator. Like it has to sort of like add to human knowledge, not just like take it and give me the highest probability.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm gonna have to watch those videos now.
It's a really good starting place to just like get immersed.
Yeah.
How much is AI a part of your life?
So I use it in my personal and business more so, and like really, it's funny because like I use it in my car wash business. Like I like
that
it.
was my guess.
Yeah, and so like I've used it to generate reports and project financials. Like, and it gives me an Excel sheet. It's like, hey, I'm buying this car wash. Like, this is the current numbers, and if I project these numbers and emulate like what I've done in the past, it's like it's done well. And then I even used it to like be like, hey, this part is not made anymore. How do I, kind of jerry rig and fix this? And it's like we're talking like electrical diagrams and all this stuff, and it just like gives it to me, and it actually works.
So wait, are you kind of a hands-on guy, Mr. Fix-It at your car washes?
100%. I am the mechanical guy.
What?
Yeah, I have learned how to fix almost every part of my car wash.
What kind of fucking knowledge do you have? You're a doctor. You're a mechanic. You're a professional trader.
Yeah, so it's funny because like I'm like that saying, I'm a jack of all trades or master of none, but it's better to pretty much know everything, and so I kind of embody that, and so that's something I've like. You want to kind of continue to learn. So like I don't look at something like, oh, that's out of my realm. Like, no, I'm gonna like dip my toe in it, and if I can understand it, I'm gonna go further. I'm gonna go another foot in, and then 2 feet in, and eventually I'm swimming in it. And so I've kind of learned these skills that I've just like gained, and it's not. And I think anyone can do it. It's like YouTube University. It's so powerful. Like education is gonna change in the future.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Internet just died. I was going to pull something up.
Oh,
but,
no way!
I don't know. Maybe I got blocked.
Does it die on our stream? That's
I
also
hope-
important.
that's good to know. Let us know if we're still alive.
Yeah, chat.
But-
Let us know.
Yeah, I figured you were probably using it in your car wash business. I mean, that's really like been the modern use case. Are you mostly using ChatGPT?
Yeah, mostly I use ChatGPT. I kind of want to dive into like Perplexity and Cloud for like some Claude or for like some other things. Like I think my next step is probably to kind of learn how to like code my own website and vibe code it. Like I want to try.
Yeah.
Why not? Like the tools are there. It's not
Absolutely. So I think, did you see the demo day?
Yeah, dude, I was blown away by the demo day.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Oh,
No, I was really excited to hear your take on it, but like
let's do a quick overview of what stood out. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of announcements. Demo day typically, historically, is not a day for model announcements. It's typically product development, roadmap updates. A few things were launched. What most excited?
Okay,
you?
so I only watched the keynote. The keynote was like 50 minutes long, 50. And in that keynote, it was like Sam Altman beginning, and he talked about how they're linking apps into ChatGPT directly, and that already blew me away. I kind of like see the future now through AI, and then the next part they talked about agentic AI, and they had a lady build an agentic AI in 8 minutes in real time.
Yeah. I think you're referring to their Agent Kit.
Yeah.
Agent Kit.
Okay, Internet's back. This is Agent Kit. I would say this is probably this was definitely the big announcement yesterday or the day before, whenever that was, Agent Builder. This is, a lot of people feel, a direct competitor to N8N, if you guys have heard of that, or even Zapier with their AI capabilities, or Lindy, which is one of my personal favorites because it's all natural language agent building. And so this was another one of those days where every time OpenAI or Perplexity or Claude or Google announces something, there's always those articles of like, oh my God, 1,000 startups just died. And, you know, but very much in this regard, things did just become more complex for an N8N or a Zapier or a Lindy.
Okay, so
this is a pretty direct competitor.
So I remember when the LLMs were first launched and you and Nick were really playing around with them, and you were mentioning how with Zapier, you can like tie in apps into the large language model, but now it's like a native feature.
Yeah. So like if I just take a snapshot of what it is today that they released, I don't think you can accomplish it. A lot of it comes down to UI, and these UIs are still quite technical, even though they're saying they're for a non-technical audience, which is a little bit ironic because it's like, even the UI of how you build these agents, the current mapping and the UI and the infrastructure of how you do it, the drag and drop, the steps, the connections, the APIs that you need to loop in, it's still not that intuitive. But that said, like, that's why companies like Lindy exist. Like Lindy, you literally just use natural language to develop agents. You can talk to, you can vibe code agents.
Like from your mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy.
Now, N8N is the market leader right now in this, but OpenAI just showed up and said, like, we're basically ready to take you on as well. So what's unclear to me right now is, like, OpenAI has its fingers in so many different places. The apps thing is like, okay, so are you trying to become my browser? And then are you actually trying to become my operating system?
That's where I thought it was going.
Oh.
And then you've got like, okay, you have all this API usage. So you're trying to be the Claude killer. You want to take over all development, like we talked about last week, I was saying was a reaction to everything they were doing. They're just trying to do a lot. They have a ton of money and they need to grow fast and they need to drive real return on revenues.
Of course.
And what they won't be transparent about is like ads. Like clearly everything that they are leading toward is like, obviously moving toward advertising. They're just not being transparent about it.
Well, yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, the numbers that they reported just like on users, it's like 800 million
weekly
active uniques. That's fucking crazy.
I'm one of them, you know? Like,
so am I. Yeah. We all are.
It's literally one of them.
But what concerns me about the ad thing is like, is the agent or like the model gonna like push you towards something now? Is it going to have a bias to sell you that one product?
Yeah,
well, probably. Yeah, I mean,
versus
I don't
like the best fit for what you need.
Agree.
You know?
I don't even think that the ad model needs to be their monetization model. I mean, I think they can.
I'm
they
happy
can
to pay.
Well, I think they're going to have a subscription model. I also think that they can be like an Apple App Store, like taking a cut of the user payments from everybody who uses the apps through OpenAI as like a browser or an operating system or like a app platform.
I'm sure you saw the app thing, and I think what made it really powerful is you're not just connecting ChatGPT to Zillow. You're overlaying ChatGPT with Zillow. So I can say, find me a house in 92101 under $2.5 million with this many bedrooms, and it has an AUD. Okay, finds that for me. Zillow can kind of do that with clicking around with a mouse and a UI, right? And they could always layer on AI, but they made their MCP available to ChatGPT to be able to give it the functionality to be able to ask those questions. But where it gets interesting is now narrow it down to the ones that are within a 5-minute walking distance of a park. Zillow doesn't have that capability. And so when you layer AI on top of these apps, it starts to get really interesting and get really powerful and potentially become a better browser.
Yes.
But they've got the fingers in so many things. Like Sora is obviously costing a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, okay, I know you're going to drop like sponsored videos on me soon or something. Like, what's really happening here, and how are you powering all of this? So obviously it's a big team, a lot of initiatives, a lot of different divisions and groups and
they're
products.
growing like in all directions. I'm really interested in this becoming a browser or becoming an operating system direction, because I think this is the direction that like Google and Amazon and everybody wants to actually fight for. Is they want to be the platform of choice for consumers to do their searches, to do their browsing, to do their queries, so that, all of consumer behavior happens on their platform.
Yeah. What are those Russian dolls?
Yeah. The nesting dolls.
Software eats the world, right? Famous phrase, I think Mark Andreessen. So like everyone's just trying to eat each other.
Yeah.
And the one that can actually be the operating system, like in Her, the movie, like where you can really function as the primary modality and everything runs through that, wins. They're probably all racing for the Her vision.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought when I was watching this. And I immediately thought that, like, of course, Gemini is going to follow suit, and then they're all going to be playing, they're all going to be battling for the same Her end game. And, then my investor brain kicks in. I'm thinking like, okay, so what now?
Invest in more GPUs.
Yes, it's obviously more GPUs. That's what all roads lead to Rome.
Yeah. So do you think, what they came out with is like, I saw a lot of doom and gloom also on Twitter, like, oh, this just killed so many startups. Like, do you think that's true? Like,
happens literally every 2 months. Every time there's an announcement, it's a meme.
Yeah.
At this
Okay.
point.
It's a meme. It's a meme at this point.
These markets are so enormous that defensibility right now is so unclear for any company, not to mention the frontier model companies, the foundational models and the applications that they're building, but also the startups. And defensibility is often coming down to speed, distribution, and UI. So what does OpenAI have? 800 million weekly active users. That's a fuck ton of distribution. So if I was N8N right now, it's concerning.
Yeah.
That said, these slices of pies, the pie slices are so big, and the differentiation is easy enough to create with a unique approach and UI and all of the things that come with stickiness as a customer, that it becomes difficult to switch to a certain point. So like my co-founder was like, honestly, Agent Kit is going to be something that people use alongside Zapier and N8N. Like you could develop things to a certain point, but there's only like X number of integrations. Zapier has thousands. And so really to accomplish your ultimate objective, you're probably still going to need to go to Zapier. And then eventually maybe your company decides to build, but then you go, no, we can't even do it. And you still end up going to some consultancy agency to actually build this and deploy it for you. And they might choose what to use to actually do the building. And so it remains to be seen like who wins that market. But I think the Agent Kit thing is pretty exciting.
I think that's even a good point too that we can expound on, like how this stuff, AI broadly, is actually just more of a productivity enhancer rather than like a labor replacer in general. Like I think the way that I see people using this now is like you can't just like replace headcount with AI.
Yeah.
You can't replace it directly with AI, but clearly the Accenture news, you guys saw that.
No,
right?
what was that news?
11,000 people laid off.
Oh, wow.
Like
That's a big number.
Significant number.
Yeah.
Stephen was
And that was
early
like
to that call.
the second wave. It was another thousands of people right before that are being replaced by people that are AI curious. Like you have to at least show a curiosity and a desire to integrate AI into your role and into your knowledge. And if not, you will be replaced.
Well, I think
that meme became true.
Yeah.
I think
people that don't use AI will be replaced by those.
Accenture is a unique thing. Like Accenture and companies like that, they were productivity enhancers to begin with. Like those guys are being replaced, but I don't think like headcount is going to be replaced at like the company proper necessarily.
Yeah, I agree. It's mostly accentuation of productivity.
Yeah,
for sure. But it can enable higher resourcefulness and reduced headcount that would have needed more people in the future.
Yeah, or more growth and more hiring, and we'll see where it goes. But I definitely don't see it as this like this time is different type of tech disruption. I think it's just a continuation of all the technology innovation we've seen over time, where it's like some people get displaced, but a lot of people are creating more productivity with this stuff.
More jobs get created.
I think so.
They fulfill a different role in the future, right?
I think so.
So I have to show you guys this video.
Yeah.
Okay. card pivot, but
Hard pivot.
so I have no idea if there's audio. But
No, there is.
this is what you call a fucking bridge.
There's a restaurant there.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then we have.
This is in China.
Is that a river underneath it?
So if you're not watching the video on Spotify or YouTube, this is the world's highest bridge in China.
Okay, first of all, read this.
Okay, China officially opens the world's tallest bridge, completing the project in under 4 years. The bridge features a restaurant at the top, 2,600 feet above the river. Not only does it cut a 2-hour drive to 2 minutes, but it also features a theme park with a glass skywalk, a high-speed glass elevator, and a waterfall off the edge of the bridge. Visitors can also bungee jump off of it.
Jesus.
Oh, Armand's in.
2,050 feet above the river, 4,600 feet across the river. Meanwhile,
Hold on, scroll down. Show me that waterfall feature. That's
Wow.
sick.
That is so cool.
Wow.
I thought that was the river at first, you know?
yeah, that's actually incredible. Like, not only did they create something that has real function,
Yeah.
but it has beautiful form to
It's
it.
aesthetic, right?
Okay,
it's
hold
art.
on. We
This
did
is
a
art.
pod episode a while back
Form or
saying,
function.
yeah, look, why aren't we creating anything beautiful anymore? This is a good example. Yeah, we are still doing some
How
cool
many
things.
years has California been working on the high-speed rail?
Oh my god.
Oh, and they have like one piece of cement laid.
I drove by it like a couple months ago.
Wait,
and
where
I
is it?
was-
Like Fresno?
It's
Where
like
is
in
it?
Fresno, yeah.
Oh,
and I was
God.
up in the area looking at car washes, and I just drove by, and I was like, "What is this thing?" And then I had to Google it, and I'm like, "That's the high speed. It's like a quarter mile long.
That probably cost like $1 billion minimum.
more. Like,
Yeah.
apparently,
Yeah.
it's like there's no more funding for it. And it just blows
That's
my mind
so
how
sad.
China made this in 4 years. And it's like a benefit to their citizens, and they just like essential planning, and it's just wow. You know,
So-
like when's the last time we did anything
Yeah,
in the
so
U.S.?
like, what is that? Is that like a problem of like how our government runs? Is that a problem of like, you know, because I mean, private enterprises create beautiful things all the time, like right, you know, beautiful hotels, beautiful
Yeah.
structures, like.
But this
what-
structure must have been a public structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
that-
what is it about China
Slave labor?
or
But they have they have full like authority, central
Yes.
planning, you know, like, and I think that's the role of government should be, right? Like it's central planning to provide infrastructure. But here, like, you know, like just the high speed rail, like California is an example, like it can't get off the ground because there's so much litigation and issues, and it's like,
Okay,
you
so
know?
I actually remember when that high-speed rail proposal was coming out.
Me too.
Okay, and I looked through
My
like
dad worked for Caltrans.
really.
Yeah.
Okay, so I looked through the prospectus at the time. At the time of initiation, I looked through the prospectus, and they projected that the average fare going from Los Angeles to San Francisco would be $457, and a flight costs like $60.
Yeah,
and it takes
Southwest,
less,
baby.
and it takes less time. So I was thinking, like, who's gonna do this? And like, what are your projections based on? Like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, where does the money go? How, like, who's doing the planning? And
The
then just-
level of waste and how inept.
No, but I think it's
This-
like nobody's
it's
this
crazy.
inept, so it has to be corruption because
Oh.
there's like nobody's this inept.
Yeah.
Like,
But when is the last time the
you're giving a lot
U.S.
of
made
credit.
anything, something like this? Like, like
Yeah, like this is hard to say.
it's
this
hard.
Is incredible.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
This is
Like,
incredible.
yeah, like
yeah,
We really sleep on China, man. I had a friend. She was posting on Instagram her stories of going to China. She's a founder of an e-commerce company, famous company. I'll just say who it is. Glamnetic. It's these like magnetic eyelashes. I used to help them. I used to consult for that company in the early days, and they've exploded. They're in Ulta. They're in every store. They're worldwide. It's like huge phenomenon now. My wife spends like hundreds of dollars a month on fucking Glamnetic. It's crazy. It's literally crazy. But she was in China, and she was posting her stories, and she's like, she was being very candid about her perception of China that has been filtered through the U.S. media, what she expected to see versus the experience she had. She said it's her favorite new country in the world. She
Okay.
was blown away by the culture, by the beauty, and she did it right. She like didn't just go to the big cities. She went and had like real authentic experiences. She was blown away, man.
okay. There's two places that I've seen. I have this like just like normal like Microsoft rotating wallpaper, like on my desktop. Yeah, I have a Microsoft.
Guy's still on a PC.
Yeah,
too.
I got a PC, and like 2 times, I've like logged into my computer, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? It's beautiful, and it's been like nature China,
Yeah.
and I think one was like the Yellow River, aptly named, the Yellow River, and then one was like in Guilin with like mountains with like clouds, sort of like encapsulating the mountains, and I was like, dude, I think that this is the type of China that I would want to go see. And I don't know where this bridge is, but if it's like anywhere close to nature China, I'm down.
Me too.
Duh, I'd go visit. Like, it's on my bucket list of places to go. You know,
I mean, I've been to China, but I didn't see stuff like this. But
for
what
business.
For business and suppliers and manufacturers and stuff like that. And I had a cool experience, but I really would love to go back for the cultural experience. I didn't have the cultural experience.
I've only been to Hong Kong.
definitely-
Is Hong Kong?
Hong Kong's awesome.
But it's not like China. It's like
Yeah, they have their own
they have their own thing going on.
their own culture.
Yeah.
But it definitely is not what the propaganda wants you to believe. Like they're doing fine. Like and there are issues economically and there are issues with the birth rate and all that stuff. But yeah, the society is very interesting. All right. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. We talked to Dev Day. We talked to Alfalfa Round. So before we dig in, I think it's worth you giving a brief background on like you're a doctor, what made you become a doctor, what kind of doctor you are, and then how you've evolved into these various other roles that you're
then we can like
playing.
unpack his different tendrils. of himself.
I think we should start with like the core of what drives you, because there's clearly, if I can hallucinate, service component to you.
Yeah, definitely. So I grew up in an immigrant family, firstborn generation, and my parents are Indian, and every Indian parent's dream is like, hey, you become a doctor.
That is number one. Always number one.
Life's problems are gonna be solved.
Every
You'll be
immigrant
set.
family.
Yeah, every immigrant family, right? It's like one of the most prestigious things you could do. So I set out on that path. I was a good student. I was great at math. Eventually, made it into college, and I thought I was going to do biomedical engineering. And I realized, like, although I was good at math, I'm not good at engineering. Like, that was like way too technical.
Oh yeah, that's like calculus math.
Yeah. Oh, like above 2D and all that stuff. So I dropped that and I sticked with the bio. And I kind of was hesitant because I felt like I had a business background, and we'll probably get to that later. But I wanted to do business and economics, but I was somewhat like pushed into the direction of medicine. And I did some volunteering, and I was like, this is great, like really wholesome. I worked at a cancer ward and, volunteered there, and I got to see people like, undergo like their toughest times. And I would just be at the bedside and listen to their stories and help them. And it was just very basic, and that drove me to do some lab work, cancer research. And eventually I was like, yeah, you know what? I do think I want to become a doctor, and it's not, and I kind of told myself, like, being a doctor is probably not going to be the only thing that defines me. It can still do different things. So I spent, a decade plus in school.
Wow.
And then now like a decade now out as a doctor.
Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in LA County, north of LA. And I did my studies in Irvine and Western University, and then did my residency in county in like Pomona area.
Mm-hmm.
So I left, got the first job, and I ended up coming down here and working and I loved it. I'm a hospitalist, so that kind of means that I live in the hospital. So you come in.
Wait, hold on. That's like the technical term? Because that sounds like the term that I would use to describe somebody who's in a hospital.
yeah, definitely. So I take care of people that are in the hospital. So that is
So
the
it's
technical.
a very general function.
Yeah, so
medicine.
I'm internal medicine trained.
Okay.
So I know I know a
You'd
lot
be a
about
primary
everything.
care doctor for
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah, so I'm like the primary care doctor version in the hospital.
Okay.
And I guess the simplest way to explain it is like I'm the general contractor of your care in the hospital. Like if you come in for kidney failure, I will take care of you. I will call the consultant, tell him what he may need to do, have him give me recommendations, have him order additional tests, studies, and I get you better, and then I plug you back into the community. And it's more shift work. I was more of a shift work type doctor. So that's like kind of what led me into medicine. I love it. You know, there's like, I love the body. It's so fascinating. We still don't understand anything. Like, well, we understand a lot, and we're probably going to learn more about the human body through AI and, you know, genetics and all that stuff.
Okay, so let me just stop you there.
Yeah.
Where do you think we are if you were to make an analogy to like elementary school to sort of like postdoc? Where are we on our understanding of the human body and the brain and everything? Like,
I think we're probably at the high school level.
high school?
Yeah, and I think it's
That's
because
pretty good.
I don't think we've cracked the brain, you know, like that. I think that's like the most complex organ that we have. So it's like you've got trillions of neural connections, and how do they work? And it's fascinating to see like companies like Tesla's or Elon Musk's like neural network, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, people can walk again. And now you've got these new technologies that are coming out through AI, which is like CRISPR,
Mm-hmm.
genetic engineering.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like the new frontier of medicine. And so like that's when you get to like the postdoc level, you're going to be like curing diseases before they can even occur in someone. And so it's fascinating to be in this role. But, you know, again, I got into medicine because of the challenge, the lifestyle. I kind of cultivated a certain lifestyle for myself.
And making your parents proud.
Yeah, making my parents proud, you know?
We're going to have a million questions for you, so just I hope
Yeah,
you're ready. It's mostly going to be just like grilling.
I'm all for it.
Do you have a certain perspective on medicine? Like, would you consider yourself like functional? And the deeper question here as well is like, do you think it's possible that in this paradigm of medicine and the way that we approach it, we're at a high school level, but do you think it's possible that we have the perspective completely wrong? In that perhaps the Eastern way, or perhaps there's more to the mind in medicine than we give credence to in the Western world and how we approach healing?
So I don't think we have the perspective wrong. I don't want to say we have like East versus West medicine. One is right or the or wrong. Eastern medicine's been around for thousands of years for a reason. Like it has helped. Like
There's some Lindy there, you think?
Yeah, I think there is. It's hard to study. It's one of those things like it's hard to get a randomized controlled study
to apply science
to apply true
like
science
Ayurveda
to it.
or something. It's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's. I don't think the perspective is wrong. I actually kind of practice more of a holistic type of viewpoint. Although I am more geared towards the Western, I'm Western trained.
Because most medicine is very narrow. It's like you got a guy that just specializes in organs, or you have a guy that just specializes in that part of the body. And my perspective has been that we tend to silo it a little bit, and we remove the fact that there might be something more upstream causing the problem. We're not getting to the root of the problem.
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, that's it. Like, isn't Western medicine, it's like teaching you about disease and how to rectify disease.
Yeah. And so like we lose the emphasis of like preventative medicine.
Yes.
And taking care of the mind, body, soul component of it. I think that's kind of what I would say like one of my biggest gripes with medicine nowadays is like we've lost that emphasis of, taking care of ourselves now. And I tell people, and this is like a quote I use in the hospital a lot for some patients, and it hits home. It's like, if you don't make time for your health now, your health is going to make time for you later. And it's like, so the time to like work on yourself now.
That hits.
Yeah.
No, that
works.
hits
You
me.
need to use that a lot.
Well, that hits me a lot because I don't have fucking time for my health, I feel like. With a newborn.
Oh, it's hard. But, I'm talking about like the people that let themselves go, who don't who eat processed food all day.
Sort of like chronic.
The chronic conditions are a lot of them like that. It's so easy as a Western medicine doc, right? Is to just prescribe a pill and be like, here, take this. You're going to be okay. Like, no, truthfully, you're not getting to the root cause of the problem that led you there in the first place. Whether it's like a sedentary lifestyle, you're smoking too much, drinking too much, you're just not exercising, taking care of your body, not finding peace of mind. So I think we've pulled away some of the emphasis on that, and we need to, as a community, get back to that. And I think that's very important. I try to impart that type of wisdom on my patients. Okay. I see a lot of elderly population. So I see them
Yeah.
kind of when it's a little too late.
Okay, so you've also mentioned that you have like a unique ideology. You seem to have a bit of a unique ideology within your workspace, and I don't know if that's like only professionally or like only non-professionally. You know, like you might have non-consensus views that maybe aren't like fully liberal.
Yeah, it is. So like I think this goes back to like maybe one of the reasons why I'm kind of resigning from medicine at the end of this year. And it's like
Tomorrow.
I wish it was tomorrow.
Okay, no, do it now on the pod.
Yeah, I'm gonna let me just text my
Just
boss.
call. Just call. Use my phone.
But like, I think COVID was like a fracturing in society, in all parts, and I think it fractured. It fractured me personally as a physician because there was questions about the science, the credibility of our institutions, the
Wow.
propaganda that went with it, and I still like to this day like question a lot of it. And a lot of that, in being medicine trained, it's a very conservative profession.
Yeah.
So you like to question the ideology, the doctrine that you're trained under, like, is like hearsay.
Yes.
And so
It's almost like religious fundamentalism.
Okay, hold on, because this is blowing my mind actually, because I've never really like empathized with like the healthcare workers. Like I've never put myself in your shoes. Like,
Remember the doctors that came out during COVID that were like labeled anti-vaxxers because they were asking questions and wanted to study some of these.
well, they
alternative
labeled everybody.
treatments.
They labeled everybody a moron.
But remember how
who
they were
had
basically
any
like
questions.
it was a witch. It was just
Exactly.
like completely like you're out. You're literally not a legitimate scientist or professional physician anymore.
Dude, I can't
Like,
even believe what it'd be like to be in Doc's shoes going through that, and your whole like life
Asking
setup
questions.
is based on this doctrine. But then to even like question it a little bit, you're made to feel like a moron, or you're made.
No, not a moron, but you're looked at differently. Like I don't fit in. Like you're kind of, the way you not succeed, but like climb the hierarchy and get up
'Cause
there.
it's still a corporation at the
It's
end of the
I
day.
don't think
corporation.
it was any different.
fall in line.
I don't think it was very different from like my experience at Google in San Francisco. If I didn't have the exact same political beliefs and laugh at the same jokes and lean the same way as everybody else, it was like weirdo. Like immediately, like that guy's different.
Yeah.
And there was only like 3 of them, and everyone was just like, screw that guy.
And they wouldn't like climb the ladder.
No, they wouldn't climb the ladder at all.
And it's not that I had aspirations to go higher into administration or anything, but it's just like, when you start to question that, it kind of, like I said, it made me rethink some of my own fundamentals of like why I was doing medicine. And like, I think that's where like my shift was like, oh, we got to be more holistic. We got to focus on preventative medicine, especially like I was a frontline doctor during the COVID times, and I saw it. Like, yeah, people praised me for going to work, but at the same time, I saw like was trying to understand science. I was trying to make sense of everything. It was like so fast, and you don't know who to trust and what's happening. And I was a little bit honestly fearful of my life, like in the first
because nobody
days of
knew.
COVID. No
Wow.
one knew, right? Like
Wow.
this is a a pandemic. At the end of the day, like it's just I think it's changed. It's one of those things that like kind of has started the polarization. I think it was
Yeah.
like one of the very first beginnings when I started to kind of care more about politics afterwards and listen to
everybody.
things and
Me
stuff.
too, man.
Yeah,
Me
it's
too.
just,
It was a forced sort of reckoning.
forced awakening in a sense.
Did your perspective change?
A little bit that I don't have as much trust in institutions. It goes back to the corruption,
Sure.
the incentives, and things like that. And it's probably right around the time that I became a Bitcoiner too. Like I'm a Bitcoin maxi, and it's like you question everything. That's like kind of like the fundamental thing. Like
Sure.
question it, and it's okay to question. I'm coming from a place of curiosity and understanding, but people just that simple questioning label you, and it's not fun to have a label, right?
Yeah.
Like it's. Like you said, like at Google, like you're the weirdo. It's like, no, like I'm just trying to understand. Explain it to me. Let's have a discussion and
Acceptance at face value became the requirement for many people.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure.
So obviously, personally, it caused like some deeper thinking and a transformation toward a more holistic approach. I've noticed anecdotally, and we have other doctors in our community, a lot of burnout. Post-COVID in particular. Obviously, COVID was very challenging, but a lot of disillusionment. And I don't know if it's related to what you're talking about, but I'm curious if you could break down like why there is so much burnout in the medical system at large in general and healthcare at large. Like, why is it that when I go to the doctor now, I just feel like, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful toward doctors, like we wouldn't survive without them as long as we do. Like let's just start there, right? Like,
yeah, you want to
they're
give all the
saving
respect.
our lives.
All the
But
respect
they
to the doctors.
seem so exhausted, have such little time, are overbooked back to back, and they just don't have the patience that they used to and the tableside manners that they used to. And I'm sure they have a good reason. And
Yeah.
I want to understand better what that reason is and why there's so many people questioning their careers in medicine and where really the faults lie.
Yeah. So like physician burnout is like something, it's like happening around the country.
So that's a real
It's
phenomenon.
a real phenomenon. And we are short of doctors, short of just healthcare workers. And it's not just like doctors. Like I think it's happening widespread across like healthcare in general. Now going back to it, like, you know, I got into medicine because like I love the medicine, you know, the challenge, connecting with patients on a deeper level, the empathy, you know, sharing stories. But it comes with like intense sacrifice. Like there's a lot of sacrifice. You spend more than 2 decades or a decade in school. You come out kind of feeling behind. You want to jumpstart your life.
Yeah, you're
want,
debt ridden.
Yeah. You know, I went to school to have, you know, I put myself 6 figures in debt to have a degree that gives me a moat to essentially earn 6 figures. But at the same time, like you come out of that and then you're just into the workforce. You don't have like a good car. You don't have like a home. Like, you know, and like every doctor, every person deserves shelter and everything. But like I talk to like physicians now and that are new, you know, to starting, to joining practices. And it's like, they're like, yeah, I'm so much in debt, but I want to buy a house. And I'm just like, God, like, I don't know how you're going to do that now in these times. And it's like, that's one of their goals. And it's like, so you're kind of forced to work overtime. You know, on top of that, you may be forced to work overtime because of the scheduling. You're driven by like customer satisfaction scores rather than like your healthcare outcomes. You don't get the time to connect to patients. So if you go to your primary care doctor, like you're on a 20-minute block, and then that doctor has to like sometimes work after hours, sometimes without pay, to chart all that, and then and they end up going home late. There's the emotional empathy drainage, you know,
Yeah,
like
that would like affect me so much.
yeah, there's times when I come home from the hospital and I'm just like, there's nothing left in
Especially
me.
the hospital.
Yeah.
Dude, I get emotional
Yeah.
empathy drainage from watching a movie.
Yeah, no. Well, they say like, you know, people who cry during movies have like some of the most empathy because you're actually trying to live that
What about
person's
commercials?
shows.
I'm a commercial crier.
Oh, I haven't cried during commercial yet. Yeah.
Some,
No?
some of
I'll
the,
show you a couple
some of the
commercials,
Google
man.
commercials hit me.
Oh yeah, some do hit pretty hard, right? But so you're working these hours, and then you got like all these clicks and things that you got to do. That's like you're overloaded with information. You've got to like fill out these surveys, abide by like some hospital regulation protocol or clinic stuff, and it's just like it's all the noise around medicine that kind of is the thing that actually drives physicians to burnout. It's the noise that comes with it. And
So, like, is like, what about like administrative burden? What about like
Yeah.
your regulatory constraints and shit
exactly.
like
So that's part of it. And, you know, doctors at the end of the day, I believe if you go into medicine, it's not just about the paycheck. It's more like you want to deliver the best care possible, right? And so when you got the administrative burden, like you got to fill out these forms, you got to go do these tests, you got to, you know, you've got to make sure you're compliant. It just adds to the extra workload. So like some doctors spend more time in front of a computer than face to face with a patient now. And that's kind of wrong. Like I feel like some of the healing that happens is just listening to a patient's story. You know, some people just want to be heard. You know, sometimes that's all it takes. You know, and you don't get that time as that, you know, you once used to. And going to like the insurance industry, the pharmaceutical industry.
Why is it
and
taking
the-
me 6 months to get appointments?
Oh, and that's access.
And I'm paying $800 a month.
Yeah, access is a huge issue. It's like the physician burnout. Our healthcare system cannot support our aging population. Like there's that statistic that everyone like talks about, like 10,000 baby boomers are like retiring every day. That's 10,000 more appointments that need to be booked every month, like for primary care, preventative reasons, let alone like you want to go see a specialist for something. It's hard to get those appointments. So like healthcare has its woes, and you've got these industry titans. Like we spend trillions of dollars in healthcare, like Medicare, Medicaid, like they spend like close to $1 trillion. It's like part of the budget,
Sure.
So
it's like a quarter of our federal budget.
Yeah. And I question how much of that money actually makes it to the bedside. How much of it gets lost in like
bureaucracy.
Bureaucracy and like, the hospital bloat, government bloat. How much is like, should we not be hiring more staff? Building more hospitals and things like that. And it just, a lot of this just compounds.
Yeah.
You've got people that are making decisions about healthcare furthest from the bedside. And that's like, that's the problem. Like you got someone in
Well
DC
said.
or state in the state capitol that are dictating not how I like really practice, but they're kind of putting restrictions and regulations and making it harder to just deliver good patient care. And I think that's at the end of the day, like, is one of the big reasons that drives physician burnout.
Would you say that this is what sparked you to kind of, Bitcoin, options, car washes, or was that also already a deeper underlying thing for you? Because you alluded to that earlier as like, I don't intend to maybe do this as my only thing forever.
Yeah, like
You kind of knew when you were younger, or
I knew a little bit when I was younger. I had kind of like a business knack. I kind of watched my dad do some business, and I was like, this is kind of maybe something I'm interested in. Fascinated by money, like my money story. Like growing up, like I was never taught anything about money. Like as an immigrant family, like you're just told to just go to school, get good grades, and you'll be fine.
Do they tell you to save? Like that's a good immigrant dogma.
Nothing.
Save your money.
I was lucky that my dad was a dad and he provided. That's kind of what his role was, and so he told me, "Don't worry, I'm going to take care of a lot of your expenses." When I hit college, I was on my own and I had to learn money, figure it out. And at that point, like I started my own tutoring business. Like when I was in college, I was like, it started actually in high school. I was like teaching kids at the community college, or young adults at the community college calculus.
When you were in high school?
And I was in high school.
That's badass. That's lore right there.
So
Yeah, you can cheat off me, but you got to pay.
16-year-old.
and so you imagine like these are like my first experiences with money, and my first job was like Magic Mountain, and I was like, this is not for me. Like I cannot do this. But started out, and I kind of found my way into into business. And I don't know, like whatever happened to the FIRE movement, financial independence, retirement early, right? Like that movement's gone. But like that was like a big thing when I was in med school, and I used to watch these like social media videos of like real estate, passive income, and all that. And I was like, yeah, like that sounds amazing. Like I want to
is that
get into
gone?
that. I feel like it's gone.
Maybe more niche now. Yeah.
Well, I do feel like there are people on our Discord who like who
I
still
definitely
like
don't hear it talked about
who like
as much.
abide by that. I'm just like thinking of a few people who I know like abide by that, even if they're not so like outward
Yeah.
and vocal.
But I think to his point, like I don't meet that many Mr. Money mustache type people, that are just like purely freedom focused. So freedom, autonomy, security, these are drivers for you. Business, you're interested in it. You went into, being a hospitalist. How long did it take? Like, did you start going to options first or start going to the car wash stuff first?
No, so I actually started in real estate first. And so I did like fix and flips. I built homes in San Diego, flipped my own house, and just, did buy and hold real estate out of state, fix and flip out of state.
Do you still have any real estate that you're renting?
No, I got out of it. Because to me, like real estate, I realized that the money was broken. This is where I become like a Bitcoiner. And it's at this time where I started to realize like if physicians themselves can't buy homes, and it's becoming unattainable for them, or even harder.
Dude, this was like the
Like-
first thing I thought of when you were saying, like, you're talking about your peers who are like trying to buy a house. I'm like, well, fucking if doctors can't do it, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. And so like housing is like, I believe housing is a right? You know, everyone deserves shelter, but we've commoditized it to the point where it's like, it's a business model, and we've, you know, and I think part of it is like when the money's not scarce, everything else becomes scarce. And we've now turned houses into like bank accounts. So, you know, some people don't care about the return. They just want the appreciation. They know that if they just buy this home, and even if they lose money on the cash flow, it's better than putting the money in a savings account. And so that's what like drove me out of real estate and more into Bitcoin. And so I did my fix and flips. I sold all my real estate during COVID because like prices were just going up way too fast.
Smart man.
And
That was amazing timing.
yeah, no, it was good because like one example is like I bought a home right before COVID, and like within like 8 months it doubled in price.
Yeah.
And this was
I
out of
saw
state. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, there's something wrong with the system. And, you know, that's when I fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole. And I was like, well, look, you know what? Sold all my real estate. I even sold my own home with like my ADUs.
To buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What was your first Bitcoin price?
Oh, man. My first Bitcoin price was 9,000.
Damn, early boy.
Yeah. So, you know, I heard about Bitcoin when it was $300. Shout out to a fellow co-resident during residency. I remember him telling me like, hey, it's $300, you should buy it. And I laughed at him.
Oh, I played the role of I laugh at you for so long. I played it all the way through its rise to 20,000, and then I also laughed when it dropped down to back to 3,000. And eventually I was like, no, wait, hold on. This thing isn't dying.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you start to like understand money, and you know, and I tell people like in life, you're either like an NPC or you're the main hero. Like you gotta like, I don't want to be the NPC or like the person that's like playing Monopoly and just passing go. Like I'm not here to just collect a paycheck every week till I'm 65 and then hope that my retirement's good enough for me.
Holy shit, what a clippable quote.
Yeah,
that's
like,
pretty great.
Yeah, and so that kind of led me, and I think a lot of this also comes from the perspective of like being in medicine. And I'm seeing people in their darkest times, you know, when they're really sick at the bedside and money comes up. It does. It comes up like, how am I going to pay for this? Or we don't have the finances, the funding. And I was like, I would tell myself like, I don't ever want to be in that position. And some of these people have insurance, and although we can argue that the insurance is great or not, but like, you know, your quality of life, unfortunately, is kind of related to your financial status.
Wasn't there a statistic going around like within the last few years that like most Americans are one big medical bill away from bankruptcy?
Yeah, yeah. Like what they think. What's like the average savings account is like $600.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
That's terrifying. Well, good for you for carving this path. I know Eric wants to get into the options.
Well, yeah,
and we have car washes.
Okay,
so let's start to really unpack this.
So one of the key moments that you left out of our first meeting when we met outside the ice cream shop is that Jay goes like, "Hey, Eric, I'm slaying in options. I'm like making $100K per month on MSTR options." And I was like, this is my guy.
Yeah. So I think it was like a couple months or earlier this year, like in January, December, I started doing the option game.
You just started.
Yeah. Like it's been recent. And so like I've been an early investor in MSTR, and I benefited greatly from that. I was actually in GME too, and I did, you know, options on that in my retirement portfolio. So I was turned on by one of my other friends at work, and he was like, "You got to start selling covered calls." And I was like, "What's that?" So I applied, got the, you know, the
approval
from Schwab,
right?
And so I just started to, you know, I Googled, YouTubed the options flywheel, and so I learned like, man, like, the volatility is your friend. And so I've embraced volatility. You know, being a Bitcoin guy, you have to embrace the ups and downs. Like I was like, how do you produce income off of it? And so a couple months before meeting you guys, I was like listening to I started doing this, and a friend of mine was like, hey, these guys are doing this on this podcast. And that's actually how I got introduced to your podcast. So it was like serendipitous that I ran into you guys as I was listening to your podcast. And then you guys were talking about SBET like the week later.
Dude, this is crazy because like I think 90% of our listener base at minimum came from like our Bankless episodes. Mm-hmm. But he came in at a later time.
Yeah.
Coming off of like Option Vol, which is a unique story. I love that.
Yeah, so the options game I think is underrated. You know, people like if you've got a retirement account, brokerage account where you've got some shares, you're leaving money on the table. You know, and it's powerful because once you kind of understand the strategy and you find out something that works for you, you can, you know, gone are the days that your portfolio grows 10% per year. Like you can make that thing, you know, your portfolio grow 25, 50, 100% in a year. And I think that's like what has like kind of led me down
particularly
this
with like with our audience as well, like our crypto focused audience, like 10% is like a daily move, like a you know
yeah,
like we're not like the blue hairs of old.
Yeah. So, you know, before the podcast started recording, we were talking about different strategies, and I take a more aggressive approach in my retirement account, and that's why I can you know, make a six-figure. You know, I'm literally replacing 4 months salary in one as a physician in 1 month of options trading, and it's
so
powerful.
Fucking bonkers. So you open your eyes to this. You suddenly start, and this is I'm literally asking selfishly because I've never done any options trading. So you suddenly say, okay, I need to look into this. You YouTube University it. You hear Eric like wax poetic on this, like talking about his strategies, SBET, all this stuff. You start shoving in. How did you determine the right strategy for you? And how should each person, like, how would Armand go like, okay, I've got 15 minutes every 3 days. This is the safe way I want to play it. I want to produce an income off of the existing assets that I already own. And I want to do it. I know there's downside. I know there's risk, but I want to play the upside too.
Yeah.
In a safe way.
So there's two types of accounts, right? For most people, it's like you have your retirement account and you have a brokerage account. I do mine in my retirement account, and I can be ultra aggressive in that. And it's because I'm holding equities that I believe in long term. So even if when you sell options, you're selling covered calls or, you know, or selling puts, it's either cash secured or secured against the equity that you have.
Yep.
So for me, I was like, I have MSTR, I got into SBET, BM&R, and some other treasury companies, and I was like, look, I believe we're in the beginnings of a bull market. They're going to go up, but they're going to go up in a volatile way. So, okay, if they get sold, I lose up on the upside. They're still going to come back down to my target price, and I'm going to be able to get back in and continue the strategy.
Yeah, that's the way volatility works for you. It's like when it goes up, you can sell it. When it comes back down, you can buy it because that's what volatility does. It goes up and it goes down.
Yeah. So you can literally round trip these too. So you got to be careful. So the way I do it, it's for me, I look at it from the perspective of I'm taking profit on things that I'm not going to be held to like a tax a basis. Like I'm going to have to pay tax on because it's all in my retirement account. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm selling this stock that's priced at $100. I sell the call at 105. It shoots up to 110. You know what? I miss out on that $5 upside, but I made income that week. And then I turn around and I'm like, okay, I'm selling puts at 105 to get it back at 105. And I'm just going to keep doing that. And you're making money every week. And so for someone like you who's got like an hour a week, you know, just an hour a week is all it takes. You wake up Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and you're just like, hey, I've got 1,000 shares. You know, you divide that by 100. That's how many contracts you can sell. So you can sell 10 contracts. It's just like, well, look, you know, I'm going to pick something $10 out of the money or something further away, a certain percentage that you feel comfortable at, like that you sold, and you just sell. You just don't even look at the price. Just walk away. Next week, you come back Monday morning. You still either have your shares and you keep the premium, or you ended up becoming a forced seller, but you also got the premium. And then you could turn around and sell the puts on it.
And then you get the premium, and then you get the shares back. It's the same thing, just in the other direction.
Yeah.
So it works particularly well in this retirement account, and in particular with things that you intend to hold anyway.
Yeah. So I would only do this in stocks that have the high volatility, that have and high conviction. Like you could do it in Costco, low volatility. You're not going to make as much, but it's going to be like, you know, you're going to make like 0.15% weekly, and again, you compound that over a year's time, that could be 10%. And it becomes a big thing on top of the appreciation of the equity that you're holding.
Yeah, dude. I think this is important to say is that like a lot of people who own Costco would love like a 10% dividend on Costco.
That's what you're doing.
And that's what you're essentially creating for yourself.
Yep.
And like that is totally feasible. Like what you're describing is totally feasible for a layperson. I think the questions you're asking are very good because
like I own a lot of like in terms of individual stocks, very much back in Nvidia, Tesla, some CRISPR, some Google, and then obviously like Bitcoin, IBIT,
Yeah.
ETH, things like that.
And these are
all things that I'm gonna hold.
Yeah.
Like,
so there's no reason that you could say what I don't know what Nvidia is trading at today, like
it's like
220.
No, it's like a 190, 189. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so there's no reason that you can be like, you know what? I'm going to sell 5-day calls, 5 DTEs. You know, that means that they're going to expire this week for $230. And I'm going to collect $15 per every contract. And say you own, 100 contracts. You just made $1,500 on the week.
In 5 days.
In 5 days for 1 hour of time. Like it's amazing the power that you can do with that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I think Doc and I have a different approach to the options game. Doc's like a much more aggressive, income-focused type.
Yes.
Whereas like my style is like I'm really riding on the stock's appreciation as like my bread and butter. And the income is like the icing on the cake. It's not the cake. The cake is the stock itself.
What is the appreciation you're for? So how does
So
that
like
different?
Nvidia at 190 today.
Yeah.
Like Doc might sell 200s on Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I might sell 250s on Friday. Like I don't think it's going to go 250 by Friday. I'm going to take I'm going to earn a much smaller premium, but I'm going to win every time.
And why do you play it that way?
I play it that way because I want the stock's appreciation. I never want to lose my Nvidia shares. So like Nvidia might blow through 200 and Doc would lose his shares. In that case, he would go back on the put side, but I would keep my shares. And then maybe the next week it goes to 210 and so on and so on. So like I don't play really the wheel as much as he does, which is like you're constantly like getting on the put side or the call side or whatever.
So less active, but still taking that premium and that like dividend that you're self-creating while owning the underlying shares.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and on my strategy, like what I calculate is I remove the capital appreciation from the options game. And I just look at the premium that I collect. I collect 25% per year on just selling the options. And that is like with never losing the shares.
Yeah. So 25% per year.
That's like
you're compounding.
Yeah, dude, imagine a dividend that's 25% on your portfolio where you never lose your shares. That's my entire game.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's incredible.
It's very powerful.
Yeah. So when I first started doing this, I was like asking ChatGPT to model this out for me. And the numbers are just mind-blowing. 25% per year without accounting for the appreciation of the underlying equity is like most people don't even get half of that.
So this works well in a bull market.
Oh, yeah.
How does it work when we top in Q1, Q2, 2026? I'm just saying, let's say we do.
I mean, so like you're
where does the
holding
income
stocks
strategy
that you're
go?
going to hold for 10 years,
Yes.
right? So it doesn't matter. You can still keep doing it. Yeah, your overall value of your maybe retirement account may go down, or say your brokerage account may go down because the underlying equities went down.
But I'm still playing the exact same game in a bear market.
And so you're still playing the exact same game, and all you're doing is that you take that extra premium, and now you can dollar cost average into your shares that you want to keep owning at a lower price point.
What I would say is that
with your strategy.
Yeah.
And even the way that I do it, like what I have noticed is that like when you get into a bear market, the returns do compress. Like
they do. Volatility goes down.
I assume that's what I mean. Like they have to, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta squeeze this orange right now harder, but you don't.
No, I think you can do it in any fashion that suits you. I think that's why options are so great, is because like really what they are is just like a tool to express your view on the underlying. But when bear market hits and like everything's down, you don't get paid a lot for like out of the money calls. So like, what I'm earning 25% on, I might earn like something like 6% on. Yeah. But that's still fine. I mean, that's still like a fine dividend, and you can keep running the strategy, and like bull market comes again, and like it always does.
That's if you don't move to cash and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to,
this is really for the forever assets.
I mean, if you want to get into the nitty gritty and you want to like move to cash at the peak, then this is a game that I actually prefer way more.
I want to hear about this.
This is a game where
because I'm moving to cash.
Okay, cool. Because I wouldn't move to cash quite yet.
No. I didn't mean today.
Yeah, I get it.
But when we get there, when we get to this like frothy environment that's like really bubbly, and I think we all want to move to cash, I think a great way to play it is to like take a pause. Like I like to sell puts. So what I'm talking about is naked puts. So like these are secured by your cash balance.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would pick a stock that I like, or maybe like an asset that I like Bitcoin, and maybe we get to a frothy environment where Bitcoin's like 170K or something, like 200K, let's just say 200K. When Bitcoin's at 200K, I think like a cheap price for Bitcoin would be 100K.
Yeah.
Right. So a couple of years from now, Bitcoin's at 200K, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll be a forced buyer at 100K Bitcoin, and I'm making something like 10% on that, and I'm like, I'm selling puts, I become a forced buyer at 100K Bitcoin, and like when it does drop to that price, then you're sort of like dollar cost averaging at those points on a forced basis, but you're making your premium.
Yeah, and you're collecting premium as you have cash sitting on the sidelines to buy at that price.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was worried that we were going to get into a realm where Doc and I are getting a little too nerdy. And
I like it. So with that strategy, that IBIT in particular, and you're doing the naked put. So are you utilizing the cash that is securing?
Yeah, your cash is the collateral.
It's the collateral.
But you don't actually get, it doesn't get assigned unless you lose. So unless Bitcoin went down below 100K, then you become the forced buyer.
Yeah, so if Bitcoin went to 80K, you're obligated to buy at 100K.
Okay.
But, if you time it right, you kind of are conservative with it, you can probably just collect the premium till it gets down to that point where I'm going to buy at this price.
That's typically how you'd play it in a bear market?
That's how I would play it. But, I'm a conservative guy. I've mentioned on previous pods, the guys who follow this know that I like to use the standard deviations as a model. So 97% of the time I'm winning my contracts, and that pays me about 25% per year. Doc is playing a much more narrow band. He's losing more, but with those losses, he's happy to own the underlying and then take it long.
Yeah.
So Doc, that was pretty specific. You would say to your strategy in your retirement account. How would it adjust in a brokerage account?
Well, in a brokerage account, I think you have to worry about the tax implications. And so for me, I'm looking at it as okay, I'm going to resign at the end of this year. And if I need extra income, I can just pull out of my retirement account. But if I could just pay the penalty, I don't have to worry about the tax implications at that point. But if you're doing it in a brokerage account, you've got to worry about margin. If you're on margin, I think you got to play, Eric's game or the way he plays, more so than the ultra aggressive that I'm doing.
Got it.
I think you're at risk of kind of losing your shirt in an actual brokerage account, because my game is also still long term. It's still my retirement nest egg.
And I also use leverage. On my style. And if you're doing it in a retirement account, you're forbidden to use leverage. So I use leverage, and that's why I'm extra careful, because when you're 2xing your portfolio value, a sharp move can really wipe you out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Damn. I like it. I'm pretty convinced.
Yeah, you should definitely dive into it. I think it's a lot of people are just leaving a little bit of money on the table. It doesn't seem like a lot.
Sounds like more than a little bit of money though.
There was there was a time, I remember, Arm and I have held NVIDIA for a long time.
Yeah.
I think our cost basis might not be the exact same, but around like $3 a share or something.
I think we bought in like one or a year apart or something. Like
Yeah,
around
like
the same time.
we owned it when we were in San
20,
Francisco.
like 10,
That's
11.
Wow.
like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And so I remember when NVIDIA was like really pumping and we were like, all right, so what kind of options are you looking at? And I was like, I want to sell options. And this was before it even split. So I was looking at selling options that were like $1,000 a share expiring in like 2 months. And you get paid hundreds of dollars for this thing. And I'm like, I think this is my ideal where you're like, do the thing that will never happen. You don't stress, you don't sweat. You just collect a little bit of extra income and like just start there. Just start there and understand that like you can like squeeze a little extra juice out of your holdings. And then like once you get your feet wet a little bit, then you can start to like make it more your own. But I think the simplest version is just like take your holdings, take the furthest
out of the money call.
Furthest out of the money thing and be like, oh shit, I just made a little extra money. That's cool. And just experiment that way.
Right.
Yep.
Okay,
Totally
rad.
agree.
So you started, growing your nest egg, actively doing options trading, and then you decided to buy a car wash.
Yeah. So the car wash thing came, it's been like 2.5 years now I've been in car washes. And it started out as like, okay, how do I still do the fire thing? Like I want to retire early. Like I'm not going to be a doctor till I'm 65. Like maybe I'll still be practicing, but I don't want it to be my main hustle. Like I want to get my time back, freedom, all that. And so,
oh wait, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Can doctors do like a part-time deal? Can doctors like go work at like a private office and maybe just like do 15 hours a week or something?
You can. It's dependent on the organization or if it's a private practice, but like you can do per diem work, which is like you just pick up shifts on an as needed basis. So I could work as little as like 4 hours a month to like
That's
40
amazing.
hours a week.
Okay, so nobody talks about this. I mean,
yeah.
that is like a nice lifestyle
Yeah,
design.
like a lot of my doctors have been like, they're academics doing research, but then they come in once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like those kinds of doctors in particular. They're really present with you too because they're excited to be there.
They're happy to be
to
back.
see
It's
it.
their patient time.
Yeah. So patient time.
So yeah, that's cool that there is that flexibility.
Yeah, so you can even do like something called locums, which is like I can fly out to Alaska, work 7 days straight, and get paid like an entire month's
I
salary.
was just going to
for
ask
7
you
days.
about that. Like
Yeah.
these
Wait, hold
trips
on.
that you can do.
Yeah, you
Wait,
can do.
locums? Is that like an acronym?
Yeah, I don't know what it. I think it's like some Greek word or whatever. but
Okay.
like,
Okay.
yeah, so it's called locum tenens, and so there's doctors that like fly to different parts of the country that are underserved, and they need like again, there's a physician shortage, burnout, whatnot, and they need doctors to staff the hospital or clinics or whatever, and you get a set rate, you get a traveling stipend, and you're there to work and grind for like that 7 days or however long that contract is, and they pay you triple, quadruple your rate.
Damn, I could see you doing that.
So yeah, I actually debated doing it, and I was like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go to Alaska for 7 days and just do it. But like at the end of the day, like I just was like, no, like I'm comfortable, like I want to. But if I needed the money, like say my
Not
car
only that,
washes went south,
Well,
that's
you
what I'd be doing.
got 2 young daughters. I was thinking you could like get an Airbnb. The family goes out. They explore Alaska as well. You grind, and then you also explore Alaska afterwards. Like it could be cool.
That'd be great, but my wife hates the cold.
Never mind.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Pretty sure 95%
Yeah,
of women
no girl likes
hate the cold.
What
They're
was
just
that?
always-
Nick said last week? They're all like anemic.
Yeah. Oh, that one was controversial. By the way, Doc, Pat says, God damn, Doc does everything. What a G.
Thanks,
know.
Matt.
Alan Bryce, I am staring at my Robinhood right now, trying to figure out the furthest out of the money thing.
Yeah, no, and I'm happy. I know I haven't been present in the Discord because like life's been busy. When I first joined, I was like active, but there's a lot going on in life, and I'm like gearing up to resign, and we're buying 3 more car washes by the end of the year, and it's like it's exciting times for me. So hopefully, when the dust kind of
Totally.
settles, there'll be more day trading, the retirement count.
Well,
in
your
the Discord.
car wash alpha was one of the biggest alphas I think dropped in a long time. So maybe just give us the...
Hold on. Can I just like set
Yeah.
the stage a little
Yeah,
bit? Because
sure.
first of all, he's holding court in the kitchen of the Airbnb. Everybody's gathered around Doc here, just being like, okay, what next? And I remember Dan Simmons is like, I need this. And Nick Urbani's got like the biggest business boner I've ever seen in years.
Nick was belt tucking.
It's been years since I've seen this thing so strong. So yeah, you've got these car washes. Explain what's going on.
So I got into car washes because, like, well, my biggest burden in terms of finances is my tax liability. And I wanted to generate income, and I got out of real estate because it wasn't doing it for me. It wasn't going to do it fast enough. So I was like, okay, business, right? You see all the business social influencers. I was like, you know what? I could do a boring business.
Okay, one quick question.
Yeah.
So most like real estate investors, they might have a high tax burden from their job. They have high income from their job, but like their real estate income isn't it's like separated from their W2
so
income.
there's active and passive income, right? So I started to explore tax strategies and found out that car washes, the real estate is considered active business income. And that's the alpha. Like, that's the biggest takeaway for anyone. Like, I was able to take a car wash, put it on an accelerated depreciation schedule, take the phantom losses on that tax return, and then pass it through to my own income, like, and wipe out my tax liability.
So that you're not paying tax on your like
physician income.
Your income as a doctor.
Yes.
That
so
is
it was like a bonus
huge
to me. And on top of it, I'm buying businesses. Like, I'm not doing ground up development. I'm not doing these like $5 million Soapy Joe's express washes. I'm buying mom and pop car washes that are like decentralized, like, you know, everyone owns a different one-offs.
I'm guessing the economics on these are pretty compelling in themselves.
Yeah. So, you know, we target, I don't know if you guys understand cap rates.
Sure.
So cap rates is like, you know, 10%. So that means like if I buy a business for $1 million, a 10% cap rate means it nets $100K before debt. Mm-hmm. And so we're targeting car washes with like, you know, 10 to 12 cap rate. And then the way to figure out like what your profit is, the easy, quick and dirty way is to take your cap rate and minus what your loan is going to be on it.
Mm-hmm.
So like you take 10%, my loan is 5%. I know I'm going to profit 5%.
50K or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm making 50K on that $1 million purchase, but you know, there's government loans and all these things that only allow me to just put down 10%. So I bought this car wash.
So you put down 100K
to buy it.
You make 50K a year.
Yeah.
By year two,
it's starting to grow.
It's starting to grow.
But so you think about that math, right? Like, I'm making 50K on a 100K down payment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
a 50% cash on cash return.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
I'm wiping out and you're getting the depreciation.
I'm getting a 6-figure refund from the government because that's how high my tax bill is.
All right, we can like wipe our hands clean. That's like
that might be it.
That's like the only alpha.
That might be it.
It's like the best alpha ever dropped.
So you know, it becomes a very powerful tax strategy, and it's definitely more advantageous for the more income you earn. But
of course,
I would not. You know, if you say you're on a McDonald's salary,
when you say government,
you should still do it.
You're talking about like SBA loans.
Yeah, SBA loans.
Take out SBA loan, 100K, and then. You know, boom, like, you know, the liability for you is so out of pocket on these.
So, you know, I'm buying these car washes.
You're restructuring them, you're refurbing them.
Yeah, so I'm buying these car washes. Like, my first one was like a meth home. Like, it was a crack den.
Is it like Walter White where he worked? Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, it got like lit. When it went dark, like, all the roaches came out. It was bad. Like, you know, I remember when I convinced my business partner, you know, the other alpha too, I should say, is like, get a business partner, you know, like find a good friend or someone, you know, that you trust, because it just opens up the doors of opportunity and how much you can like just go and accomplish. And we just divided and conquered. So
like, body.
Yeah. So
that's great alpha. I actually love that piece of alpha.
Yeah. And people say don't do friends with business, but you got to know your friends. You know, you hang out with holistic people, nice people. Like,
and
you know,
the reason
people.
is to divide the responsibilities or the liability. What is really the
all of it?
Yeah,
all of it. You're 50-50 on everything. You know, and so you know, with my business partner, he had the same kind of tax problem I did, and I was like, hey, let's do this. This is what I found out. I think it works. Took it to a CPA. It was done. Like, yeah, okay, we got the green light. Let's go buy our first car wash.
Is he a doctor too?
He works in pharmaceutical sales in a big company. And so he's actually looking to resign, but they're like throwing more money at him to like stay.
It's the
So
rare.
he's got a good problem.
The rare male pharmaceutical salesman.
Yeah, like he works in a pharmaceutical sales, like generic drug company, and I think he's like chief strategic officer. So he's high up there.
Okay, so he's like beyond going office to office. 'Cause
Yeah,
I feel
he's
like,
beyond that.
because I feel like those are hot chicks only.
Yeah, you're right. You know, from, anecdotally, yes, you're right. So you know, I remember sitting in the parking lot across from the car wash that I was first about to buy, and just looking at these like people that are, tweakers. You know, we call them tweakers or whatnot. Just like, I don't know if I want to do this. But, it's like you got to overcome that hurdle. Like, I was like, the financials are strong. We verified the income. It works. Like, let's do it. So we did it. And in the first, 6 months, we poured, an extra, I think, $50K into it. And we made it nice. We made it, we tried to provide, the best customer service, the best experience, the best soaps. And
do you keep the labor? What do you keep and what do you discard?
We, honestly, all the employees that we've taken on from prior acquisitions, we've kept, except for one we had to let go. He was just constantly late, unfortunately. But we've empowered them. We've gone in and just hey, I'm going to learn. We're all learning in this together. We're going to do it together. And that's what I said, in the beginning, ChatGPT, taught me how to fix things. So I became the electrician, the plumber, the inventory guy.
Crazy, dude.
So I learned all this, and my partner was the back end guy. He did all the HR, the compliance, all that stuff, and then he's also learned too. So we kind of both have
How
a
do you
blended
create
role.
the time?
So
Maybe a better question is, how much time does it take?
Okay, so
one?
as a physician, and one of the reasons why I like being a hospitalist is it's shift work.
Yeah, it's very specific.
It's
right?
very specific hours, and I used to be 7 days on, 7 days off.
Oh,
So I'd work 7 days continuously,
God, I
day
love
shifts
that.
with a 24-hour shift at the end.
Hold on, 7 days on means you sleep in the hospital and you're always on call?
No, more I would take care of patients that were there from day to day, and I would get a new redistribution
you work
of
7
patients.
days in a row.
I work in 7 days in a row. I'd work a night shift at the end
Are
of
we
it.
talking a strict 8 hours?
No, it's whatever time it takes to finish the work. So some
Okay.
days light, finish at 6 hours. Some days 12 hours because shit hit the fan at work.
Yeah.
Someone was crashing. But at the end of the 7 days, I'd do a 24-hour shift with followed by a night shift, and then the following week I'd have to do another night shift or not, and then I'd go back to my 7 days on again.
Wow.
I switched to night shifts, and I became what's called a weekendist. So I'd work Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, and that freed up and gave me more of a consistent schedule, so I could go out to my car washes and then
Wow.
go fix things. So the grind was real. I literally was working 60 to 80 hours a week for over 2 years. And I've now slowly curtailed my role as a physician and focused more on the car washes to ultimately, at the end of the year, I'm going to be stepping away more so from medicine and just full-time car washing.
And you're at 5, 6 of them or something?
So yeah, so
If you can share.
Yeah. In 2.5 years, we've scaled to 6 car washes, and 3 years will be end of this year, and we'll have 3 more.
What does one cost?
They vary.
Okay,
just
just give
depending
me
on the part of the country.
Ballpark me. Are we talking million or what are we talking?
So the average purchase price for mine is probably around $2 million for
Okay,
each one.
$2 million. You get an SBA loan, 10% down, $200K down.
So there's different ones, but 10%. If it's your first one, it's 10%.
Okay.
But we're at 15 to 20% down now.
Okay, you got a partner, so
We're
let's
splitting
call,
it.
Yeah, let's call it 10% down, so it's $100K each. That thing's cash flowing $100K each down, so $200K down. You're cash flowing $50K in year one, probably.
Yeah,
Each.
No, each.
yeah,
Because if it's 2 million, then yeah.
So you're
So 2,200,000. Yeah.
damn.
So the economics start to work out, and then as we, bring in marketing and better service, and we rehab the place, better lighting, and we
Business
just
grows.
Yeah, and so the business goes up in value, and we get repeat customers, and so that's we are seeing a steady trend of growth. So on top of that, we're getting 5 to 10% annual growth on top of what we were already existing.
Dude, this is crazy. Can I ask a series of stupid questions? Because I think the way that I perceive this thing is still from a COVID mentality where like things like dry cleaning just like died. I thought like people didn't go to work anymore. I thought people didn't drive anymore. Like I work from home. Like who goes anywhere anymore?
Yeah, so I think car washing is one of those boring businesses. Like there's like hundreds of millions of cars on the road, you know? And so you look at it, even I've talked to so many owners now that even like towns of like 10,000, 20,000, their car washes are just crushing it. They just make such good money.
Is it better in those like sort of like more rural areas?
Yes and no.
It's literally just the math of number of cars, number of car washes, density, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's density, and then just like, do you provide a good product? You know, because there's like a psychological feeling to having a clean car.
Yeah,
and then,
I love washing my car.
Yeah, and so if you and
you wash
therapeutic.
yourself?
I go to one of these.
Oh.
Yeah.
I go to like a Soapy Joe's.
Yeah. So I specialize more so in the self-serve model. So people like to go and just put $20 into the machine and just.
Are you talking about the ones that have the hoses and everything?
Exactly.
Oh, interesting.
So I specialize more in that, but I have.
Those are the people that really care about their cars.
Yes and no. Like, you know, some people, again, just want a clean car. Like, hey, it's like dirty. Like, I got bird poop on it. Let me go just rinse this off and put $5 in the machine or $20. Like, you know, our Saturdays, like, it's nice. It's a nice feeling to see families come out on the weekends and just like, you know, and I see them. I'm like, here's a couple extra bucks. Just have your kids play with the guns.
I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't ask if you have like a subscription model. Like I'm doing a disservice to Nick, really.
No. So yeah. Nick asked me these questions. So I've got the mix. I've got like the self-serve, like the hoses and guns and brushes. You do it yourself. I got the automatic machines where it's just like literally a machine that rotates around your car. And then I have the express model where you get put onto a belt and it runs you through.
Uh-huh. So three different tiers.
3 different tiers.
Uh-huh.
There's also another tier which is like the flex hand wash model, where like, you know, you kind of pay a little bit premium and they kind of wash your car for yourself.
I'm sure you've done the math. Which one is performing the best?
They all do. They all do really well. And it's just kind of how you know, again, it goes down to density.
Probably the market,
the competition in the area. Like, you know, so I'm primarily based in Phoenix. Fierce competition. There's so many car washes there. I've got like a superstar across the street from my biggest car wash, and we compete with them. And that's private equity. And I'm just mom and pop. And we're still growing in numbers. And and yeah, so going back to the original question, like, yeah, we sell subscriptions, and that's like a good, nice, constant income that we use to reinvest. Everything else is like, and it pays the mortgage, pays the utility bills, and you know, everything else is just profit.
Okay, I had another question. This was a Nick specific question that he asked me to ask you. He said, as we transition more to automated driving, how do you foresee this impacting your car washes?
I think I don't think cars are ever going to go away. Like, you know, people are still going to like the novelty of driving their own car. Like, yeah, like Tesla maybe, you know, have its full, you know, self-driving technology, but there's still a person behind that wheel that wants a clean car. You know,
well,
so
sure.
now you're talking about,
or the owner of the guy who's like renting it out as like a Lyft type vehicle.
Yeah.
Or the robo-taxis or the Ubers or the whatever. They're going to have to get washed.
No, I'm actually more wondering if like you're worried about competition coming in from Tesla itself, like building their own
cars,
facilities
so
or something.
Some of these facilities do have their own car washes. Like I know car wash techs, mechanics that install automatic machines on site for like enterprise, for Tesla or like dealerships, and they wash their own cars. But you're talking about 100 million plus cars on the road. Like
I think it's like 10 to 15 years. We're imagining a world where Waymo, Uber, and Tesla are competing head to head. Some of them are outsourcing maybe to Uber, like the Waymos and Uber will set up a partnership. Tesla seems like it doesn't want to partner and it wants to do its own thing. But the idea, I think maybe behind the question is like, if the majority of people shift to having an autonomous vehicle that no one has to drive, they're just getting in, they're renting
it's like
it
ride
out,
sharing, right?
Ride sharing their car, putting it into the system, and they have to get washed. And so do you even worry about that at all as a decreased number of people, individual owners wanting to wash their cars?
I think it is a true risk to the business model at some point, but I think that's still some time away. It's it's like Airbnb. Like, yeah, you own a home, but do you Airbnb it? Mm-hmm. So, you know, yeah, there's going to be cars that are ride sharing, but that's only going to be a small percentage, and it's going to grow over time. But I don't think we've hit that point in the business model cycle where we're like, oh, it's exponential.
Yeah.
We're still so early.
I suppose,
to this.
to answer my own question, even like when you have a repayment period of your entire investment in 2 years,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about anything that's like 7 years out.
Yeah.
I don't, and it's all I got to worry about. Like my biggest payment is my mortgage. So, and those are on 25-year scheduled loans. I will hopefully recuperate a lot of that back early on.
Oh, wait, hold on, because now that you mentioned that, I want to ask, like, when you buy a place, you're buying a piece of property. It's not just like you're not just like leasing a car wash equipment facility. It's like you're buying a property. It's it has a mortgage.
Yeah. So I want to buy the real estate with it. I want to own the dirt underneath the ground.
Why? Like, why is that so important to you?
So like there's I've heard of a lot of car wash owners that like all of a sudden they get an offer from Dutch Bros or Starbucks and say like, we want to buy your land at a premium.
Yeah, maybe you're in like a cool area where like Chase Bank wants to come in or Chipotle, whatever it is.
Yeah. And you don't know, like, my business plan right now is to hold these around for like 10 years. I don't know what the landscape or like that area is going to look like in 10 years. It's going to gentrify
actually,
for all you know.
Dude, that's rad because I actually like that because you have the cash flow in the interim, and then you have like the
appreciation,
the capital appreciation optionality down the road.
Yeah. So, for someone who's starting out, it's not a bad idea just to even lease it. You can get long-term leases, a 10-year lease with like 2 5-year options and whatnot. You will still cash flow. Just I am privileged and blessed enough to have the income and the down payment to just like actually buy the dirt underneath and secure my position for long term.
You're buying the asset, you get the appreciation, you're cash flowing, you get the tax depreciation.
Yeah.
So really it's like you reduce your tax liability, you're making money, and you have an asset optionality for the future.
Yeah. And then
okay, so dude, I have like
a boner?
Well, I have a boner, but I've had a boner for a while on the idea of like how private businesses are priced differently than like public equities. Okay, so like in like the public world that I participate in primarily, we're talking about like the S&P 500 at 24 times earnings or whatever, right? And like you're talking about like 2 times cash flow, right?
Well, so it's different, like you're saying. It's, when you look at a public equity, they're looking at forward future cash flows, and so, but for a business, you're looking at a multiple of the gross or a cap rate. Those businesses are evaluated completely different.
Okay, so you're not necessarily talking about profitability necessarily.
Yeah. So
okay.
It's a little bit different.
But even still, I think they're like way cheaper than like the public equity analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something that I've like looked at in my world, which is, it's like kind of a non sequitur, but it's related in that these are like private businesses. Like I run a service-based business in like managing people's money.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of like older folks who are financial advisors who are managing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And now they're all retiring. And there's not a lot of like young up-and-comers to like take over those books of business.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of like finding this industry-wide where there's like not a lot of like newcomers to come take that over. And like the multiple on this industry is like 3 times revenue.
Yeah, that's about right.
3 times revenue. And I'm like, dude, why am I investing in like public equities at 30 times revenue?
Yeah.
And I do that like on tech stocks when I can just like send it on like these like old businesses.
Yeah. And I don't think you realize this, but like what you're talking about is a boring business.
Yes. It's a service-based business at the end of the day.
It's a boring business. And you have that niche and that skill. And if you have that, you are ripe for taking that over and growing an empire and just owning a bunch and just, you can start, the next like Charles Schwab and just call it, Eric's,
this is literally what that's what I've been thinking about.
So Doc, like I hear the extreme like profitability and cash flow that can come from a little bit of time from options trading. And I hear this and I'm hallucinating that it takes more time. Why diversify into this? Am I even right? Is my understanding
it is
correct?
Diversity. Yeah, so, like my goal originally, like the options was kind of serendipitous. Like I learned that and it was something that kind of a windfall. And that's, as like a cash flow, another cash flow thing that I have, like another source of income that I can tap into. But when I originally bought the car washes, it was to replace my doctor income.
Okay.
And so that was the primary goal.
Got it.
I've achieved that, and I'm going to
This is
go
the
past
active income swap.
And so that's the actual active income swap. And and going back to one of your earlier questions about like the time it takes, like at first it takes a lot of time. And that's just like, your bootstrapping this.
Stress, buying a business.
Yeah. The issues that come with it. Employee calls in sick, or,
For sure.
you're
the boss.
Yeah, the sewer
Damn,
lines
so you're
get-
still managing the schedule, the employee schedule?
He's
My
the
partner
owner.
does.
Bro, that is hands-on.
Yeah, so there is hands-on, and it's not one of like there are entrepreneurs, they call them like ETAs, entrepreneurs through acquisition, like a group of people that use SBA loans to buy boring businesses, but they buy them with the assumption that they're going to have a manager in place. And you can still do that. It is doable, and you have to search for that business and find it, whether it's an HVAC company, a CPA accounting firm, or something. You can do it. The car washes, the problem was that a lot of these car washes were managed by the previous owners. So when we bought them, we had to bake into our projections having staff, having employees. And still even baking that in, it has given they still cash flow. And we're at the point now that we're looking to hire like a regional manager for our Phoenix locations.
Yeah, that sounds
then I can step
ideal.
back further. And I'm still
not
calling the
you,
shots.
your partner.
Yeah. But I can step back further, and so like and spend more time with my family, because that ultimately was the goal, was to
It's
find
freedom.
a way.
It's like freedom oriented.
Freedom oriented. Call the shots, be my own boss, show up to work when I want to, make sure stuff gets done, and and reap the benefits of my hard work.
Serious alpha, man.
Dude, I thought Armand's question was really good. I just want to like hone in on it. You spend more time on the car washes or the options?
More time on the car washes, right?
Right. Yeah, it has to be like overwhelmingly more time on the car
Yeah.
washes. But
And
the
you're
options,
you're definitely making more from the options, right?
I'm making more for the options, but it's like you said earlier.
now.
It's right now. That income may not be forever.
You
it may
want
drop.
a reliable replacement of active income.
Yeah.
and I think,
That's my diversity.
Yeah.
and in the options game, let's be very clear. You make more money from options when you have more money. So like
Yeah.
Doc is in a good place where he can like make money from his options.
Yeah. It's the fiat game. Like I'm closest to the money printer. I benefit from it, and
Yeah.
you have to be cognizant of it, and it can also get pulled from you at any time.
Yeah.
It's not enough to put all your marbles into.
No, I mean I do have a good doctor friend who's also a partner on my Denver car wash. I taught him the option game, and he's now used this to almost replace his monthly salary as a physician. And
It's funny, dude.
he listens to the spot, so shout out to him.
Shout out. I don't know your name, but shout out. It's funny because my mom's knee surgeon came out to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, when I was also out there. She like just invited him out there, and he was talking to me about selling options. I was like, oh, let's talk, baby.
Yeah.
So I was also wondering like how many of your peer group are like into the financial world at all. Like we're talking about the depths of the financial world, but like what about the people who are just like, I'm a doctor. I'm not a professional
If I had
trader.
to put a number on it, it's probably like less than like 2-3%.
Yeah,
Right.
I bet.
And I know a lot of doctors, like
Their career, just this
they're
is what
so,
I do.
and then part of it is like, again, we're trained like very conservatively from the get-go. And
Of course.
back in the day, it was like a savings account actually meant something. So these people just have like hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in a savings account. And I'm like, what are you doing? Put it into Bitcoin, put it into like NVIDIA, put it into like IRIN or something, Yeah, you have the same retirement portfolio I do.
So that
Would count.
2-3% you're talking about, I'm guessing are like the younger cohort.
They're more the younger, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely the younger.
It's
And
gonna get more and more. It's gonna grow amongst that group.
It's gonna grow, but I think it takes time. When they have their own kind of awakening in the financial sense and realize kind of what's happening with government spending and money and stuff like that, you start to realize your money doesn't go as far. You're working harder for the same amount of dollars.
So
but
like,
purchase
hold on.
less.
Like when you talk about this stuff with us, it's like right in your wheelhouse. But when you're with your peer group at work, this is like not a subject of conversation that comes up, or
It comes up because I'm like infamous at work now as being known as like the guy that's resigning from Kaiser. Like I work at Kaiser.
the guy who made it.
Yeah, like because people who join there get these golden handcuffs. They get this great benefit package, great retirement, and all that. And it's like you're leaving that, and it's like because I've found greener pastures in a different avenue that's more wholesome and fulfilling to my life goals. Like my goal is to ultimately watch my children grow up. And
how do you think those guys view you? Do they view you as the guy who bought Bitcoin early, or do they view you as an idiot, or are they viewing you as like, oh, he found this like commercial real estate opportunity? Like, what do you think?
A lot of them is just like, I wish I could do what you could do, or I wish I had time. And it's like, I'm given the same amount of time.
Right. We all have the same time.
We all have the same time. We just don't know how much time we have at the end of the day. Like, in terms of days, number of days, but like we all have the same amount of time. I just carved out that time. All I did was I pulled forward. I tell people like I pulled forward 10 years of work and I crammed it into 2 years. Yeah, I worked super hard for it, and I pat myself on the back and say like, I deserve this. I'm not going to diminish that.
Oh my God. But the famous quote, I deserve this.
Yeah,
I love saying that.
But it's like I put
there's
in the
nothing
effort.
better than a reward well earned that in your heart that you earned.
Yeah, no one can take that away from me.
No one can take that from you.
Yeah, and so it's like when people tell me this, like I don't have time. Like guys, like I have 2 kids too. I'm a husband, a father.
My hallucination would be that you probably receive some compliments and some kind words from people that
for sure.
are whole inside, but there's a lot of people that will project their envy and insecurity about it. And really their excuses, but at the end of the day, it's because deep inside they wish they would take action in the way that you did.
Probably, I would say that's a low number. I feel like a lot of the doctors that I work with genuinely feel happy for me because I feel like
those are good people.
Yeah, and it's like the same thing. It goes back to physician burnout. Like these doctors know that the burnout is coming. They feel it already, and some of them have 20 years left in their career, or 10, or 15, 5, and it's like you got to endure that. And so I looked at it as from like, and some of these colleagues of mine like look at it as like I'm the risk taker. That's risky, and I just like I think it's risky to do the same thing day after day till you're 65 or 60 when you decide to retire. Like, your life is gonna pass you by.
It's a question of like, is it riskier actually to be part of a system that provides you what I think is a false sense of security, or to take life by the horns and to create your own security and your own future, and to take on the risk of the uncertainty that comes with entrepreneurship, but with the freedom and the unlimited upside potential that comes with just like carving your own path in life.
Well said, man. Well said.
That's so good. Like I look at it as like it's riskier to do the former, like what you said, is just like it's the security.
Yeah.
I did it in a smart way. It's not like I just quit. I had one foot in one door and I dipped my toes in, and then I eventually one full foot in.
You did
and
it
then
the complete opposite of how I did it, and that's the right way to do it. That's how you did it. I woke up one day and was like, I'm changing my life.
I'm gonna quit Google. I'm gonna burn the boats.
No plan, and I wrote an article about burning the boats and was like, this is the way I'm gonna do it. But that was me. I needed like an insane amount of fire underneath me to take that level of action. You're doing it in a very smart way.
Yeah, and so
like it's just a seesaw. Like let it tip over and find the equilibrium, and then it's just like not even a risk to step over to the other side.
But also, like I think what you're building is like it's almost like how Doc and I run our options portfolios. Like Doc's going for like income.
Yes.
And you're going for like the massive windfall.
The $1 billion unicorn, right?
Yeah, and like you're building that $1 billion unicorn. That's like a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game. It's a different game.
And it's exciting. I encourage people to take action. Like what I think another alpha, I could share late now is like a lot of people don't take action in their lives. Like they get the analysis process, information overload, or they feel like they need permission from someone, or like the fear of failing and just fear of what other people think about what they're doing. That's just all noise. Just take the baby steps. You're going to trip. You're going to falter. I've failed before. Yeah. Like not everything I've done has been a home run, or I've taken some losses, but I look back now and I'm like, I started there, and look how far I've come, and it's just baby steps, and before you know it, you're just running full stride.
Absolutely. And I know that there's plenty of people who are in our audience or in our Discord who want to learn more from you, and from what I've seen firsthand, you're like willing to help anybody. Like you're willing to like handhold people. Like, don't waste too much of your time. But I do love the fact that you're willing to help people.
Well,
I think we're all like that.
Yeah, and I got here truthfully because I asked a lot of questions and people helped me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a disservice.
Allies, man.
Yeah, it's
Allies.
a disservice to my being and my ethos if I don't pass that forward. Like, it's about helping people. Like, I wouldn't be here in this position today to be so blessed and have a family and be doing well in life if people didn't stop and take the time to talk to me and educate me.
By the way, that's like the Western mindset in a nutshell. Is like there isn't this competitive nature to helping and seeing other people succeed. That doesn't really exist in certain countries. It's like wanting to see someone passing along the advice. That's like, we have a very entrepreneurial spirit, in particular in America.
You're talking about America? Okay, because I think
in
that
the Western world in general, but yeah,
but I think that like
the most in America.
I think that people look at Americans as like cutthroat that aren't willing to help each other.
Not at all. That
No.
couldn't be less true. So remember the story that Nick told about his trainer, Ronnie, that went around the world and teaching Muay Thai.
Right.
And then came back to America and was just blown. And he went to I think he was in Brazil or he was in Japan. And he was like, so people are just like sharing this advice with you about how to build your business in America. And he realized that's what made America so special.
Yeah.
Is like people just want to see you succeed openly, willingly. It's a positive sum nature here in general that I think doesn't exist in a lot of places. Speaking of freedom, we have this quote, which is what you're, in many ways, you're optimizing your life for these experiences with your family. So this quote, I don't think it's actually by Rumi, but it's
from Rumi on Twitter.
Rumi on Twitter. Life is strange. You arrive with nothing, spend your whole life chasing everything, and still leave with nothing. Make sure your soul gains more than your hands.
Yeah, this is really deep wisdom here.
It's a banger.
Yeah, it's so good. Shout out to my wife. She's been my anchor through this whole journey, like in my crazy ideas. Like, she reminds me constantly, just like stop, slow down, smell the roses, enjoy the simple pleasures in life. And you think about it, like, yeah, I've amassed some wealth.
It's a great partner.
I'm not gonna leave with it. There's always that carrot that's in front of you that's dangling that you want to go chase. But if you don't enjoy the journey and share it with people and impart like core memories with people, like, you're going to be left with nothing. People aren't going to remember you, specifically just with kids. Like, I want to impart my teachings on them. I want them to have core memories about me, because that's what's going to remain in the life after I'm gone.
Why do you guys think, I don't want to ask multiple questions at the same time. So why do you guys think we're so drawn toward chasing everything and filling our hands with stuff? Like, as human beings, why are we so driven to do that? And that's not everywhere on planet Earth. It's definitely here.
Yeah,
it's definitely American.
Yeah,
I think it's because it's important.
Important.
I think it truly is important. Like, I think when you break it down to its fundamentals, what you realize is that, like, money is an abstraction of human labor and time.
Yes.
And like to collect that and to grab it is like pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like important also how you use it once you have it. If you use it in a way that just collects stuff, you've almost like lost that time. You've lost that energy. I think that's where people get lost. But I think it's important to collect
So
it.
to expand on that, I think it's more like the purpose. You need to have a purpose in life, whether, and most of that purpose that you do generates income. But you have to have something dangling in front of you. You have to have that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're not going to grow. You're not going to evolve.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to learn and impart that knowledge on other people and share it.
So is your main cause, like your goal is to like share knowledge, I guess, with your loved ones, with your children? Is that sort of your calling?
Yeah, becoming a father has like changed everything, and so it's like, yeah, I want my girls to have, the opportunities that I didn't have, do the things that I couldn't do, and then impart like essential, just core memories that like shape them to be beautiful people in this world. And just, again, and I hope they carry that on and spread it, because that's how we're going to change the world. Like, that's, we don't raise our children right or do good things like and have that, it's like, what are we all doing it for? Because at the end of the day, you're going to get that shiny object or chase whatever, but then you're empty.
So I guess, like, I want to ask Armand, like, what do you think we should be chasing if it's not like wealth, like what should we be striving for? Like, I think we should be striving for wealth in a sense, because it is like a way to sort of aggregate time and energy and effort, and you can like retransmute that into other things like Doc was saying. But like, what should we be saving?
Some people will chase the wealth in order to do what you're saying, but I think there's a way to chase creativity, and then as a byproduct that creates wealth. And I think that if you can do what you love and it's of service to people, and you can find some kind of an ikigai, then money is just a monetary system and a way to measure the frequency of value you're providing in a unique way to more people, creating value. Now, you can do that in gray hat ways, black hat ways, or white hat ways. I choose to do it in a way that I think is most creative to me and most useful to other people, which creates a deeper sense of fulfillment along the way. And it's creative and it's wealth generating. And then that wealth generation creates more resources and leverage and abundance. But I also think it's not only about chasing creativity. I think it's about chasing fulfillment or being in a position of superposition of fulfillment along the way. So what does that look like? I think it's what Doc is saying. I think it's like along the way you're creating and carving out time and building core memories. Novelty, I think, is the easiest way to create core memories. We talked about this, I think, last week, where you and I agreed, like, don't go to the same restaurant every time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just go somewhere new and go for a drive an hour instead of 15 minutes because there's something new there that you haven't seen before. So if you start to package together this idea of like creativity and novelty, which creates fulfillment, I think that's a pretty good compass for life. And you can kind of have both simultaneously. Now, some people become ultra obsessed with one or the other, where they become really fulfillment seeking and all they care, they're just like hippie sort of mindset. Mm-hmm. Like, money doesn't matter. I'm just going to be as present as possible, enjoy the moment as much as possible, be with my family and friends as much as possible, and it'll all come to me. I think that's a little bit too far on the spectrum of hippiness for me. And then there's the Elon Musks of the world that don't have the relationships and aren't creating the core memories outside of their work. And that's also another version of extremism. He's getting his novelty and purely from the creativity
of building businesses.
Of building businesses, and from his North Star of the greatest, noblest thing that I can possibly do is be the person that turned humanity into a multiplanetary species.
Get it to Mars.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not going to discredit that. I'm not going to take that away from him. But I think there's something to finding a sweet spot in between those two zones. And I think it's really interesting to say something like this, like, make sure your soul gains more than your hands. So that is kind of a more poetic way of saying what I'm saying. It's like your hands are capturing value of things and money and houses and car washes and things like that with your creativity and your effort. But your soul gains fulfillment from core memories, from novelty, from experiences.
Yeah.
And so how do you make sure that you continue to do that more, or at least as much,
no, I think
as you fill your
this
hands?
question is so good. And I want to ask Doc how you feel about this, because we share some common income streams. So like for me, what I feel about like the options game is like, this makes money.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that fulfilled from it. It's like, it's just a way to make money.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, because like I, in a sense, got lucky. It was early in trends. And now I have this nest egg that I'm just benefiting off of what's already there. Like, I don't feel as proud I hope to just now take that and educate people so they can do what I'm doing.
Sure.
And that's the soul meant fulfilling. But like, again, like I don't feel like.
And like within our
I don't
Discord, we
feel
have like
full.
we have a select few people who have like kind of taken on this challenge, or like, okay, I want to learn options, and they're in our like options channel of the Discord, and you know, I can see them like making this their own, and that's fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
And I love that. But also like, I feel like car washes might be the same, where it's just like, this isn't like changing the world, you know, you're just like making good money off of it.
It's not, but
it's a
there's
transformation of the car wash. Like going to the creativity, like going in and improving it and making it a better experience. And it just like, it fulfills my heart. Like when I see a family there and they're washing their cars and the kids are running around the cars, and I'm just like,
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
With the car wash.
Like it makes me feel good. Like they're making a core memory right here, right in front of me. And I want them to enjoy this moment. Like
even if it didn't do that, the benefit of it is it makes you rich. And that unlocks a level in life where if you can unlock that, if you have the shelter and you have the certain level of financial security, then you can worry about, you know, as Naval would say, like get rich and then get happy.
Yeah.
Because it's much more difficult to try to get happy if you don't have the base level of security. So at least if you solve security and wealth, then you can focus on fulfillment and making sure your soul gains, you know, just as much as your hands do.
Would you think that, man, I think that's very well said. I wonder if like, if it is true though, because like a lot of folks get rich and their hands don't get full.
It's super dangerous on multiple fronts. Number one, it becomes an addiction, just like you're alluding to. Number two, you might never do it. What if you don't succeed? Yeah. And then you wake up and you're 85.
You have nothing.
And you're like, okay, you know, I got CRISPR, but maybe I only have like 10 years left. And, you know, I spent 85 years, and that's if you're lucky, right? So like, what are you going to do at 85 with a frail body? Mm-hmm. And so there's a risk in either becoming addicted or it taking too long. And so you do have to carve out time for fulfillment along the way. Otherwise you get trapped.
Well, let me ask you, like, what fulfills your soul?
Well, shit. I think I found like things that make me very happy. So I have a list of things that make me happy, and not all of them are like really profound. Like some of them are like simple things.
But
like
that's the simple pleasures in life, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm wondering if like happiness and fulfillment aren't the same. So like, let me just give you some examples. So like, you guys, I think like Armand knows me as like a happy guy, right? I'm a happy person. I am. But lately I've been a happy person that also has been experiencing more dark thoughts than I'm used to. And what I mean by dark thoughts is like, I'll like play out a scenario in my mind that is like not serving me. And I'll just like go with that into a direction, and like in my mind, I'll play it out to its finality where I'm just like, that's awful. And then like at the end of it, I'm just like, why did I do that? Like, but I'm guessing this is quite common, right? Like people do this.
It happens. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. So I've noticed this happening more often for me than I'm used to. And I thought it was like my responsibility to like fight back against these thoughts, right? Like we're all in control of like a few things, like our actions, our thoughts. I thought like if I can control how I react to things, if I can control how I think about things, you know, then I can kind of curtail these thoughts. And one thing I was thinking was like, well, why don't I just like focus on the things that like make me happy, like the little things, even little things like the charger from my Tesla in my garage reaches the charger in my garage wall without having me to install a whole new contraption. I'm like, that makes me very happy. Like, that's nice. But then I, you know, at the top of the list, there's like, you know, my wife, my daughter, my parents, her parents, like our family, like all these things at the top. But then like when you get lower and lower, it's like,
cup of coffee on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, like watching Manchester United when I wake up. Like that's fucking fun for me. You know, these are just like little joys that I love, and I feel like when I focus on these things, I stop worrying about these like hypotheticals that don't exist,
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty great.
Suffering and gratitude cannot coexist simultaneously.
So, but I also feel like they can't exist without each other. Like you kind of need to feel bad in order to know what feeling good is.
True.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's like just a universal truth.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of like feeling bad. Like everybody's like experienced loss in life or death. I'm no different than anybody else. But I feel like what I can control is like how I react to that. That's like anybody else. But like I think like if I'm gonna find meaning, it's probably gonna be in like ways that make me feel good. And you know, I have this list.
Mm-hmm.
I think like a big thing for me from like ages ago was like financial literacy, and I've been like trying to devise a way to like help people, you know, in terms of like investing. And it's but it's been difficult because like everybody's at a different place and everybody has different goals. Like what we can do on this pod is like talk
it's
about
the one-to-many approach. It helped. Did you get anything out of, you know?
I'm constantly learning.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's like, you know, that one-to-many approach of having a pod and sharing a nugget of knowledge along the way can be transformative to somebody.
Let me ask you this, guys. Is this podcast fulfilling your soul?
Extremely. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Yeah.
There's no way I would.
You're not
have
in
been
for the
doing
money?
this for-
For the sponsorship?
It's extremely fulfilling. Yeah. Extremely.
Yeah. And
And it's a creative outlet.
and for someone as a listener, I'm grateful for you guys doing this, and it's again, it's been a new home for me, and it's been so enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of things in one. I think it's so interesting how becoming a parent, I've noticed, is like a through line here, and so there's 3 dads here, and so the 2 others that aren't normally here that aren't dads. Let's take a moment to discuss this. It's you really feel strongly about this in particular, Doc. I've noticed like how much becoming a father has changed you.
Oh yeah.
I felt a complete transformation of my psyche, my being, my maturity, my brain, my responsibilities, my compass in life. I mean, everything transformed for me. Literally the day I found out we were expecting.
Yeah.
I just like suddenly shifted, like right away.
Funny story. I used to ride motorcycles. The day we found out we were pregnant, I sold my motorcycle.
Yeah, fuck that.
And it's like you my North Star, like my guiding star is like, are my kids, my wife, going to be proud of what I've done?
Mm-hmm.
And so if it doesn't fit into that, I won't touch it. I won't do it. You know, my goal as a father is to provide, you know, protection, safety, and guidance in life. And that's like how I live my life. Like I want to be there as a parent and you know, impart, you know, my soul into these kids, into my children, that they go on to be beautiful souls themselves. Like it completely transforms what you know, who you become and how you act in life and how you present yourself to the world.
People ask me this and they're like, you know, well, why should I do it? And I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I always wanted to, so I don't really have a good sales pitch for you.
Same.
I always wanted to, and I knew it was something that if I had the opportunity, I wanted to do it. So I knew that I was going to grow from it, and I knew that it was like part of my journey as a man to grow. But they often ask me like, well, what are other avenues to achieve the same level of growth? And I can never come up with an answer. I've never experienced anything that has been able to provide me that level of personal growth.
Nothing.
Nothing has come close. Like engagement, marriage, that matured me as a man.
Yes.
Like for sure. Like I was like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm committing.
By the way,
I'm saying goodbye to Peter Pan.
I think that's underestimated as well.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Because there's like that commitment means a lot. And I think there's people out there who are like, well, we don't need to get the government involved. You know, we're committed to each other. But I feel like going through those steps is important.
It's a ritual.
Yeah,
So
this is a really loose way of saying it, but I felt like I was a boy until I got married. And then I became an adolescent. I still felt like an adolescent. When I became a father, I became a man.
Oh, it's a funny story. Like I think it was like a couple weeks ago, my wife wakes up and she's like, or it was like before bedtime, and she's like, I don't feel like an adult sometimes. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we are raising 2 kids right now. Like we are the adults.
Hardcore adulting.
We are
hardcore
hardcore.
adulting. Yeah. There's another quote, and it's kind of the last thing that I want to dive into you guys with, which is about parenting. And this is from the Stoics Meditations. It says, "You either face your demons or they raise your children." Talk about, like, what is that? 10 words of just profound, deep truth.
Yeah, going back to my wife, she's my anchor. Like, we talk about our childhood traumas, and this is something you don't realize till you raise your kids.
Yeah.
You realize the things that triggered you or trigger you now as a parent, or the things that, like, maybe were missing in your life growing up. And so personally for me, I lived in a house where, immigrant family, but there was no affection. I never felt like validation, the love, and all that, and it's changed how I parent. Like, I think it's actually one of my core things. Like, I'm gonna hug my girls every morning and squeeze them like it's the last time I'm ever gonna see them. I'm gonna tell them constantly that I love you. I never heard those words until, like, I met my wife, and that was even hard for me to come out and be like, I'm typically like a level-headed guy, not that many emotions except for, like, I'm just happy, but, like, I was never mushy. But now you see me in front of my kids, and I'm a totally different person. I'm like the biggest. I think
you're blessed that you had girls too.
Yeah,
it helps. It helps open up the emotions.
It does, and it's like that's one of those, like, things. Like, if I don't show my girls love and what it is, they're gonna have some demon in their life that comes around. It's gonna show them what love is, and it's probably gonna be in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I took away from, like, reading this.
Yeah. And maybe it's a demon, maybe it's cultural, maybe it's just the way they were raised. But at the end of the day, it's a pattern, is maybe a better word for it. Like, until you face your families and your ancestry's patterns, that same pattern will raise your children.
For sure.
And it takes you becoming conscious about those patterns and choosing and recognizing what you want to make conscious and what you want to discard and what you want to keep. Because I bet you there's some great things that you got, right, from your ancestry and your family. And there's some things that we choose to discard. Like, I grew up in a very affectionate family, but it was very volatile. It was very emotional. It was there was conflict. My parents are wonderful individuals that were not meant to be together, right? And that caused a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
And that divorce was extremely messy and terrible as an 8-year-old kid and till 16. It was just a fucking huge mess. And I saw all of these demons constantly coming out and constantly surfacing, all from fear, all from anxiety, all from patterns that they had learned from their parents about how to deal with their wounds. And I remember, for me, I would say a lot of those wounds actually presented themselves in a relationship.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So relationship can be a mirror as well about the demons that exist inside of you or your family, where it's like suddenly you're in a relationship and your wife might say something to you that is like, did you see that blue car? And that blue car can strike something in you that's like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Like, I'm making a terrible example, but the point is, like,
it's a trigger.
It can trigger something, and that trigger can cause such a stir internally. And you have a choice in that moment, and most people don't even know they have the choice.
Yep.
Because they're so unconscious about the blue car that all they do is react in such an emotional way, and they feel righteous in that moment about how angry they are. And when you're angry, how do you feel? Justified, right? And so when you're justified, you're like, well, you're obviously wrong. You're an idiot. You shouldn't have said that to me. And that can cause a person to become defensive, righteous, and there's no growth happening. So it takes a lot of deep work to start to face that. And my rule is, if I'm angry or I'm upset, it's obviously my problem. No matter what the other person did, obviously there's something here. Because if you replaced me with Eric, he'd be like, this is laughable, Armand. But I bet you there are certain things that trigger Eric, and I would say the same thing. I'm like, bro, what are you upset about?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing here. It's not, there's nothing here. It's something that you have a pattern about that's causing a stir in your body, and you're unconscious. And Carl Jung called it a complex. And that complex can just completely make you unconscious. So that's what I thought about when I see this. I'm like, okay, this is about the complex that occurs in people, whether it's with their children or their friend or their spouse, that causes them to become unconscious. And if you can choose to do the work to become conscious of it, you'll break a pattern that literally lasts forever.
Yeah.
It's broken forever. Your children won't do it.
Well, let me ask you this. I think you've done a fantastic job, because like when I first read this and it said demons, I didn't actually know what it meant. But when you like describe it as like behavioral patterns, I get it a little more clearly, but I also like, I still don't, when I like apply it to myself, okay, so what are my demons? You know, like I'm wondering, like we all have them, of course, but like, how do you differentiate your demons from your idiosyncrasies? Like these are just like parts of your personality, like, and you want to change yourself, like, you know, like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
It does. I think it's something you have to self-reflect on. And maybe, you know, for me, a lot of my demons came out when I had my kids. And then, like, that was like the time where I became an adult, like Armand said, is like I learned to grow and then become the father that I wanted to be. And so it's like I changed my personality a little bit, you know, and I don't look at it as like I'm changing, you know, because I have to change. I feel like I'm evolving. Mm-hmm. You know, I am breaking generational patterns, generational traumas. You know, some people don't have them. Maybe you'll realize them in a different fashion. You know, I think it's part of growth. Like maybe they're not here now, but everyone's got some skeletons in the closet, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So.
I guess like, oh, man, this is going to be kind of a non sequitur, but it does relate. Like I've been watching a show on Netflix called Love on the Spectrum.
I've seen it.
Okay. This show is like,
it's good.
Mount Rushmore of shows for me. This is one of the best shows I've ever seen. Partially because I see myself in these people. That's what the show does. Like, I think at first glance, you're like, are we just making fun of these folks? And what you find further on, it's like, no, we're just telling their story. And then within that, you're like, oh my God, these people are actually so relatable. They're like getting anxiety by going on a first date, which everybody does. They're, you know, like having trouble connecting with new people, which everybody has. And like, I sort of see myself within them. And part of what I'm saying is like, would you call those demons, or is that just like what they have? Like, that's fine.
I wouldn't call those demons. No.
I'm looking for like triggers, like things that really get under your skin.
Yes.
Oh, well, like with those folks.
Like one day, Josie's going to do something and it's going to drive you crazy.
Yeah.
You're going to find out.
Well, I have like some of those triggers too, which is like
if
you
them.
like slurp your spaghetti or something, I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? But I'm also feeling like that's not really a demon. That's just like I have a bit of that tism.
Maybe you had an exorcist as a kid and all the demons got out. I don't know.
No.
But no, I think as Doc is saying, like eventually there are these moments and you'll choose at that time how to face them and how to deal with them. And it causes an evolution of the self. It's a reintegration of like, where'd that come from? Why am I emotional about that? And I think we're similar in that, where it sounds like there was some trauma. Maybe you experienced it, or maybe your family experienced it. It was passed to you, and you're unconsciously doing something, and you're having a recognition of that.
Yeah.
And you're saying like, wait a second, I can choose to shift my personality and behavior to do this differently and break this pattern.
Yeah.
And
100%.
that's it. I think that as a human being, that's probably one of the greatest contributions and gifts that you can give to the world. And it's very simple if you think about why. You can go and you can stand on a podium and you can contribute and you can be the next Martin Luther King and you can change some minds. But the mind that you control the most is the formation of the personality of literally the children that you're creating. If you create wonderful people and you break generational trauma within them, that is forever. That lasts generations. And then the impact that they have on their peers, the work that they do, and then their children and their children and their children. And you're literally making the world a better place by doing that in your home. And I don't think anything compares to that.
100%. Can't say it any better. Yeah.
So I think there's probably a lot of people out there that have had some recognition with their demons at some point, and the work is really to face it and to break that pattern for generations. So, yeah, guys, it's been 2.5 hours.
Shoot,
almost.
Dan, time
What a
flew.
good-
2:20. So
Great convo.
I think that's a good place to wrap it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
done a great job. Thank
Yeah.
you.
We went deeper. We went money.
Thank you, Doc,
Yeah,
for
no,
coming
thank
on.
you for having me,
Yeah,
letting me
thank
share
you,
my
man.
story. That's like what I want to do, and just hopefully have a positive impact on the listeners. And I want to help those guys. So feel free to DM me in the Discord and reach out. If anyone's ever in San Diego, let's hang out.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Dude, Doc, by the way, is practicing what he preaches. He wants to provide inclusive community. He's like hosting a get-together once a month.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, which we've never joined.
Oh, okay.
Well,
But we-
unfortunately, like the next one's on Wednesday, so it's you guys are recording. So, but I will find some time to introduce you guys to like my local crew here, and it'll be fun. You know,
Okay.
like
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna share this.
What
with those
area are
guys.
you in?
I'm in PB, but we do it all over San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like burgers and brews, and that's it. You know.
America's finest city. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on, Doc.
All right,
Really
thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it. Like the video, guys. Share this episode with a friend. Leave a comment on the Spotify, and we'll see you next week, 5 o'clock PST. Peace. Boom. Banger. Great stuff.